Start and then you're like 3, 2, 1, and then.
Dube, you will do the counting, my good sir. Okay. All right. It's sound. Sound is rolling. All cameras are rolling. All right. 3, 2, 1.
I gave you like a list of questions here.
Yes, you did.
Did you go through them?
I did go through them. I was just making
Do you have
sure.
like some solid counters?
For a lot of them, well, for the ones that I'm obviously like clued up on, you know me, I always try to do as much research as I can before I come here so that I don't sound like a poos. But something I'd like to start by saying is whenever you and I have chats, Pin,
Sure.
I'd like to say, and inshallah, this one is the same. I think it unlocks a lot of minds.
Yeah.
I think it goes very far, certainly the furthest of any platform that I've ever been on. In that people actually come up to me in public and say, yo, you are that guy. And angish abantu like your Warras fans, like
Sure.
someone who knows me from Live Amp or some shit. I'm talking about a middle-aged 54-year-old Afrikaans Tannie from Bloemfontein in Joburg for the weekend visiting her daughter and son-in-law. Comes to me with her phone and she's like, Mandas Yaidai. And she shows me, Tom, like I'm a screenshot and I'm a video. And she's like, yo, I share this shit with my church group, fam. Like, thank you so much for what you're doing. Who are you? She has no idea that I'm Warras. So for me, if it's reaching that far an impact and everyone in between, all races of people, all ages of people. I was with my son at Pantry and like this kid, man, he must have been about 16, 17, tall, lighty. He comes to me and he's like, excuse me, sir, I know you from TikTok.
Hey.
I'd just like to say, I really dig what you said about Forex traders because my mates are trying to get me into it and I'm not keen because I think the whole thing's a scam. And I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? So that's what I'd like to say starting, but it comes with a disclaimer. We are not experts. And agushugut mina, magushu waras, agushugut, that's the way you must think. Agushugut, it's the only way to think. And it's also not every problem we address here, you might agree with. And every solution we might give or discuss, it might not be the perfect fit solution to you, economist, psychiatrist. We don't propose to be expert. I certainly don't act like an
Are
expert.
you scared of being sued?
No, I'm not scared of being sued.
Why
I
are you
just
adding
want
disclaimers?
why I'm saying it is because when people give feedback on a lot of our videos, on the comments and stuff, they'll say like, what the fuck is this one talking about? Oh, clearly, stick to DJing, shit like that. And I'm like, that's dumb. I might be a DJ, I might be an entrepreneur, I might be whatever. Whoever you are as a citizen, you have a right to live a God-given birthright to be in this country. And you have the right to receive the best of what the country can give you so that you can give your best in return. We all reach a level where shit starts to concern us, whether it affects us in the form of service delivery or we have no water for 9 fucking days, or whether we are intellectuals and we're at that level of the game where we've got the money, the power, and the influence to make changes. We've got to get involved. You understand what I'm saying? Even if it's just with an opinion. So I like the fact that when we have these conversations, it reaches far and wide enough for at least people to start talking about some of the things we say.
Don't
Yeah,
you want
Mom.
people to live according to Warras? Don't you think the world would be
Live
better?
according to me.
Yeah,
No,
the world would be
definitely not.
better.
No, not a fuck, bro. I'm not.
No, not
perfect.
you as a role model.
Yeah.
Just your advice. So the things you say, instead of putting disclaimers, be like, look, I know it's my opinion,
Yeah.
but I believe my opinion is right.
I do. That's why
And
I
I
give it.
think if people were to follow this, the country, the world would be better.
That's a reach. I believe my opinion is right.
Sure.
But it's not necessarily the best, the most perfect, or the most
You don't think
informed.
so?
No, not always.
Be honest.
Honestly-
Most of the time.
Last time, what did we speak about last time? I was like, I can't know everything about everything. I know something about a lot.
And that's fine.
Right. So I'm saying, yes, I approach it that way to say, cool. If I have to, I don't even take my own advice sometimes. But I know after the fact, with the gift of hindsight, I'm able to say, I should have listened to myself the first time when I was thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. Yabo? Akusho my life is fucked now because I didn't listen to myself. No. And it doesn't mean that your life will be fucked if you listen to me or if you don't listen to me. But take what I'm saying, listen to it, listen to what we discuss here, and do your own research. Get involved.
They won't.
You might. They won't, I know.
They
but
won't.
even if I can encourage 5 out of 500,000 to do it, it's fine. Because we still have to start somewhere. We're not gonna stop having the conversations. In fact, full disclosure, I even said to Pen, if we could have this conversation once a month, how would we do it? How would we structure it? Me and you, the two idiots that know nothing about nothing, sit
No,
down.
Baba, I'm see idiot.
No.
Whatever I say is yes, sis. This is God, Baba. You must follow me.
The DJ and the Forex trader. So yeah, so I did go through your topics, Mganam. In fact, today I was going to say to you, before we start rambling and talking shit, we should discuss those topics one by one. Oh, and Funuktin.
Where do Jan Mokanwa here has actually been one of my favorite guests now that I think about it, because the few nuggets he drops really infest my mind.
Resonate, yeah.
And one of the things he said, which I reference many times, I think we speak with Utebza, he speaks about how he didn't say this, and I apologize, but I'm going to say it the way I want to say it.
Yeah.
Stupid people are very good at energy conservation because they realize that he gives the percentage of our bodies, whatever mass, and the brain is like 2% of the body. But when it's switched on and it's working, it consumes however much, 30% or something of the energy. So it's like it's energy inefficient to be thinking all the time.
Right.
So human beings need shortcuts to conserve energy.
That's true.
You're colored. From KZN, okay, done. No, but I need to no, colored, that's a KZN.
Done.
So I don't need to process and think much more. Warras said, Umkwanazi said, and then Pen said, Ay, mina ngihamba no Warras, mina ngihamba no Pen.
Yeah.
They're not going to go
done
research.
the thinking for you.
They're not going to go research. They don't care. They want, and you know they do this on Twitter now with Grok. I'll post something, then they'll ask. And then if it aligns, I don't know if their brains are aware, but I'm getting credibility points. So that the next time I say something, someone's like, this guy's talking shit. They're like, hey, this guy, bro, normally hits.
Yes.
Because whenever we ask Grok, who they trust.
You earn that credibility.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, human beings are stupid and they're lazy, but they're also energy efficient. And those of us who like thinking a lot are energy inefficient. So we're burning too much energy. But we burn it so that other people don't have to. Which is why if they trust you and they like you, they're like, that fucking Pen guy is a bit of a racist. Warras, I like you. And you're like, sure, white lady.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Some white lady messaged me this morning and I said, no, I'm going to Pen today. So I'll discuss that topic that you wanted me to discuss with him. The private topic.
Okay.
And then she's like, oh, I forgot. I actually blocked him this morning.
Boom.
Because every time I speak to you, we talk about Penuel. That's how she found me. She found me on a
Nothing
club.
wrong with that.
She DM'd me. You understand what I'm saying? She's a bit of a MILF too. So I was you know me.
No,
I'm very shallow.
She must block me, but
she blocked you, but then I'm like, why? And then she sends me a screenshot of a tweet, right?
Sure.
The one about Afrikaans, something about Afrikaans. And then I'm like, okay, it's not maybe she took offense because she's Afrikaans.
Yeah, she took
But
offense.
again, it's like what you said, why beg and Guti. Club, if you gave some thought to this thing.
no, never that.
No, because
I'm saying they'll never
what
do
prevents
that.
people from giving thought to a lot of stuff they read, consume, or see is offense. The first reaction by most people is to be offended. You have offended me by what you're saying, therefore, I'm not going to analyze it in any way, shape, or form so that I can formulate an opinion, formulate my thoughts, and respond to you and say, you are wrong because 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be offended, and then I'm going to say, well, fuck you, you're a racist.
Yeah.
You understand? And fuck, I think there's no single word on the planet that I'm more tired of than the word racist because it's been used as a label to just, it's a few words, racist, genocide, Holocaust, misogynist.
Yes.
You know these words where it's like, I'm immediately dismissing everything you're saying because I don't want to burn up energy having to think about it.
100%.
You are we're done.
Yeah, the Kifness
Such a
tweeted.
dangerous way to think.
The Kifness tweeted just this past week, tagged at Rob Hersoff was right. You are a black racist.
Who, you?
Yeah. Okay. So to what you're saying, and then he put a peace sign emoji.
Yeah.
So I guess whoever's reading, or for him, it's like, oh, well, I've concluded you're a black racist. So whatever you say from here.
Is
irrelevant.
You
Who
are
the hell
saying it
cares?
as a black racist.
Yeah.
Therefore, your opinion's worthless.
It's very lazy, and it is a way to try and silence people. As soon as someone says, you're just a misogynist. Oh, you're a grifter. Oh, it's because you're trying to make money from Twitter. And you're like, so that's meant to say, let's not engage.
You are
We're not
just a
disagreeing.
DJ.
Yeah.
Ungenap. I fucking live here. Pay tax, bro.
So we then need to learn to transcend that and keep going. Because
we have to.
the cool thing is there are a lot of other people that know that we're not that, and they don't buy into that rubbish. And the thing about life is you have to fight for who you want to be.
Bro.
If it's not within a certain box. And that means you must override everything. They'll block you. 2 weeks later, they'll unblock. I blocked you 2 weeks ago. And you're like, oh, and you missed me.
And let me tell you, rule number one, this is for the younger girls, especially more than boys, but parents of teenagers into like early 20s people. Rule number one, you must teach your child and teach yourself. Social media is not a real place.
No.
It's where we come to engage. It's where we come to share stuff so that we can, for different reasons. Some people share stuff because they're trying to share knowledge. Some people share stuff because they're into activism. Some share stuff because they are visually appealing and they want people to thirst over them. Whatever. Some share stuff because they're trying to share what they did this weekend. Others share because they are creators. Different reasons. But nothing is real there. And like I say, what we discuss on this show, what I see in the comment section on TikTok, really... not the majority of comments, probably like 5% of the comment versus 100% of real life engagements with people who've seen the content.
Yeah.
It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
No, not a single person has come to me and said, yo, bro, fuck that. You understand? Not that anybody would. I don't know how people move. But, oh, fuck, there was one guy. He's a journalist. He writes for one of the newspapers. He's always like sending me articles on WhatsApp. But on the day that I bumped into him, I engaged with him in a respectful way. And I listened to what he had to say about our views and what we said about X, Y, and Z. I think he was talking absolute garbage. And because I think his opinion is shit. And I think when I looked more into him and I looked at the structure of his life, I said, well, no wonder you think the way you think, you dumb cunt. I just receive his WhatsApps but never respond to them. You understand? But I didn't fight with him on the day. I was like, yeah, sure. Well, that's interesting that you should say that. Yeah, no, I'll take that under advisement.
Do you know it's a gift to be able to trigger people emotionally?
True, eh?
It actually means they're giving you their mind, their emotions. You have so much power. I mean, anything that angers you has some type of control over you.
Bro, can say that again.
That is, I don't even know if they're aware, because all you need to say is, I really, really love white people, bro. I think without them, we wouldn't have a country. We'd be living in huts and we'd still be fucking hunting with spears. And where would we be, bro? They brought us technology.
Yeah.
That becomes a sound
Thank
bite.
God for the whites, bro.
That becomes a sound bite. They're like, look, I wouldn't put it like that. I think black people have contributed.
Yeah.
But, thank you for seeing us. And I'm like, okay, no problem, bro.
I got that out of you.
That's power. Okay, let's go through this vibe.
Let's get the vibe. What's first?
What would you replace black economic empowerment with? And black economic empowerment is one of the topics that you and I clash over. And we've mentioned Ubaba, who's actually an icon, highly respected, an economist and a really great voice. Ubaba Umweleti Mbeki. We're not going to speak about him today because he's been one of the big critics and he's a respected, credible critic.
Yes.
Because he's been on both sides. He's a capitalist, but he was also part of the struggle and his brother was president of the country. You have spoken out. I have spoken out. I believe black economic empowerment should be scrapped. If I get a chance, I'll explain why. If not, it doesn't matter. You'd like it to be scrapped. If we do scrap it, maybe start with explaining why you want it scrapped and what would you replace it with?
I think, and for full disclosure, Ubaba Mbeki, he informed a lot of my thinking around BEE. Because if you spoke to me 10 years ago, I thought it was the best thing ever. I myself have benefited from BEE many times, right?
As a colored?
As a colored. Okay. Well, as a colored and as a Zulu. You understand?
But they tick colored?
They tick colored. Okay. Yes, they tick colored. I also tick colored on the forms.
Okay.
What I have learned about it, right? And this is not just based on South Africa. I've looked at where else in the world similar policies have been applied. It hasn't worked anywhere ever. Okay? Because what you sacrifice...
A policy to
a
uplift.
policy. No, that's the thing. You see, there's clever word language that's used. We say it is a policy to uplift the previously disadvantaged into the seats and around the tables and into the discussions that they were previously exempt from. Right? And the end goal of this policy is equality, to have a more equitable economy, to have a more equitable distribution of resources and wealth. And in practice, It does none of those things. And that's because, again, everywhere else that it has been applied or any similar thinking, I'm not saying BEE exists anywhere else in the world. What I'm trying to say is wherever any similar thinking was applied, like in communist countries, for example, you know what I mean? Anywhere there's a system of camaraderie where we are rewarding you for what you did then, so we have to look after you now. It never ends. You see, the reward is not a once-off. Imagine if after 1994, instead of BEE, we took every struggle veteran and we said, thank you for your service. Here is 100 million rand. Is 100 million rand a fair number? I think that's a fair number.
Or you're using it as
I'm
a
making
example?
just as an example.
Okay.
Let's say we
Because
said,
it's too much, but
okay,
sure.
let's say
10 million.
Yeah, these figures, 10 million.
Yeah.
Here is 10 million. You're going from 0, here's 10 million.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Okay?
If you want to blow it,
If you want to blow it, right? Is it fair to say that in 31 years, you could have done something with that 10 million? If I give you 10 million now, where will you be in 31 years? Come on.
even if you blow it, it's generational wealth, for people that just don't know. It might be generational wealth for 2 or 3 generations.
Right.
If you do the
use it
calculation,
wisely.
if you use the calculation of an ordinary South African and the cost of their life from birth to death, 10 million could last maybe
They are
up to 5 generations.
Right. So a list should have been compiled and then everybody just gets a once-off piece.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. Instead, what happened was everyone sort of came around the feeding trough. Okay? The system of BEE, the legislation, was designed by whom? White people. You told me that. I knew it, but when you mentioned it, I was like, you see? They designed it so that they are still inside. And all they've created is black faces of things that they've done. Now, what we are supposed to do as the up-and-coming young black rapscallions is we are supposed to look to our people who've made a success of their BEE endeavor. Whatever business they went into, BEE benefited them because that's how they got access into the business where they previously couldn't. They made a massive success of that business. And today, they are empowering hundreds of other blacks, right? None of that success must have come from their placement into going concerns. You see? If I look at a BEE deal, ideally, the way that I believe the legislation was designed, I would like to think it's one way the OG black guys after Codesa said, you know what, you motherfuckers have got the monopoly on banking in South Africa. Here are 5 qualified Moletsi Mbekis, okay? They are going to start the Bank of Blacks. Black Bank. It's a cool name.
Yeah, PB.
Right? PB. Black Bank. Okay? What you are going to do as the banking sector is, since you've been fucking chowing all these years, you are going to fund it. And you are going to hold a minority stake in the bank because your various boards and CEOs have got the expertise that we need as Black Bank to implement to make our bank a success. Today, Black Bank would be Capitec. It would be black owned, it would be black led, and it would be black empowering.
100%.
That's not what happened. Whites own Capitec. I doubt that Capitec got to where Capitec is without being BEE compliant. So manje ama-blacks angena phi Capitec. Besides thina zabantu abamnyama siphethe amakhadi we-Capitec. Angizwa ngithini?
Yeah.
So when it's applied in practice, the shit doesn't work. Then we go a further step and we say, why to eradicate it? It's because that system of camaraderie that used the BEE legislation as a come-up has not stopped until now. And every year after year, administration after administration, they plug the next group and the next group while still plugging the old group. It is mushrooming because the old group never checks out.
Yeah. Abo Cyril and
No,
Patrice
bro.
still qualify as previously disadvantaged.
Thank you. How in the fuck? They are billionaires.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's no shade to the time as well done. Fucking you on, bro. Me, I would have taken the same deal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't now come and tell us how amazing BEE is when you yourself have become a billionaire by never building a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And like I've said before, clearly, all of our ministers and all of our leaders and all of our high-ranking politicians and their friends, these are the best business people to ever fucking live because certain people go from having criminal records and being arrested for fraud, to qualifying for 300 million rand tenders in the health sector. What the fuck? How? You don't come from the health sector. What have you ever done in the health sector? It doesn't make sense. But I'm not using that. I'm using that example because it's been spoken about mostly in the media over the recent months. So I'm sure people will remember it. But you could copy and paste the exact same thing happening in every industry, every sector that is related to government. And government is the biggest employer. Government is the biggest...
It's got the biggest budget.
It's got the biggest budget, and it's also got the biggest scope of work. There's plenty of work to do in government.
All types of work.
Right. Yeah. Now, let's say we're using Black Bank, right? Black Bank would have been Capitec. Can we agree? Right. Now, let's say we did that across the board. We went to your ShopRite, your Pick and Pay, all your major retailers, and we said, guys, Gumnandi, you oaks have done well. But this is the deal. You are now going to make black and buy, whatever you call the thing.
Buy black.
Buy black. Black buyers. Okay? Hey, black buyers, gay. It's starting now. You guys are going to have a minority share in black buyers because we need your skills and we need your expertise. Okay? If you don't, this is the punitive side. If you don't want to do it, this bank of yours that has had the monopoly on banking and these big banking groups that have been amalgamated into banking monsters, we will legislate that government takes 50% of it and then we'll do it ourselves.
Your ShopRite is black buyers.
Black buyers.
So I want to give a shout out to...
Sorry, Buy Black. What did you call him? Buy Black is a better name.
There's a gent in the Free State called Tommy Machato, who runs a huge cash and carry there called BB. Cash and carry. I just wanted to give him a shout out because he's a real entrepreneur.
Right. Okay.
So please carry on, sir.
We take copy-paste into the mining sector. I'm using just big examples, right? Mining sector, you go to your Anglos and your Harmony Golds and whoever was around at that time, the big guys, your Exaros, your Glencores, etc. And you say, gents, same deal. We're starting a new mining company. It's going to be the biggest mining company in the country. You are going to be the board. You are going to be the expertise. You are going to hold 20%. Right? But it's going to be completely black. And then we go and we select black industrialists. There were black industrialists at the time, you know, the Lomos and, you know, people that were early, there were black industrialists.
Gunene family in Madlanga,
yes,
Maponya, of
yes,
course.
Bata, yes.
Bab Mashaba.
Yeah. They were there, those people.
Dr. Ntato Mutlana.
And we're talking 30, 40 years ago. That's what I'm saying. It's guys who didn't get plugged post 94 and then come up. These guys were on in the 80s.
They were running businesses during apartheid.
They are your foundation. And then they are the ones who will know, ukuthi no, kunomfana bathu Penuel. Outing imthathu Penuel, outing imthathu Mtimani, outing imthathu Warras or Spanban. Ngibafake, let me take black females, let me take women. Where would we be 30 years later? The biggest mining company in the country that would be supplying Eskom, would be generating the revenue. It's a trickle-down type of system where, because it's black-owned, black-managed, black-upskilled, we are training the next generation of people to take over these things. And then under it, you've got all the other mines, all the other retailers, all the other banks that could have been, but aren't. Instead, we have a system that benefited literally everyone who got into politics and said, I'm from the struggle. That was your license into a board seat, a share in a company you didn't help build, a share in a company you cannot even comprehend what the daily business is of. Yeah. You understand? You don't know what the fuck's going on, but you've got shares in a company that's doing fiber. What's in fiber? You understand? You don't even know how to fucking FaceTime someone, but you have shares in a fiber company. Fuck off. So I would replace it with a system of a merit-based system, which has been proven time and time again. No matter what it is, if you choose, we need the best people working in the key positions, because while following the system for the past 30 years and BEE being the principal driver of the system, we are now starting to, the things that used to be cracks are now fucking canyons. Sure. Literally, there's one in Bree Street. There's a canyon in Bree Street as a result of mismanagement and incompetence. Okay? When you go into the Bree Street debacle and you look at how did the gas line actually explode? Or let me make a simple personal example, right? We do security at a building in town, CBD, right? So it's a nice contract. We've got security guards there, but Coming into the contract, because it was a previously hijacked building, a semi-hijacked building, the owner was like, yo, people are fucking up my shit. Can you come in with the Zulus? Nlungise. We came in, salungisa. Yabo, kwagnomteto. After kwagnomteto, safaka magadi. After safaka magadi, we had to check, okay, kahle kwenzakalani kule building. Number one, occupancy far exceeded. You've got 240, 250 rooms. You shouldn't have more than about 1,000 people, give or take. That's maximum. You've got well over 1,000 people living in this building because some of these rooms, which are quite small, are housing 7, 8 people that all work at one paki shop. Not going to work. Or 7, 8 tailors. We are tailors from Malawi. None of us have papers to be here, but here we are, right? And we're sharing this rental of 2,000 rand a month, whatever it is. Nip that in the bud, right? Do I know how to do a building audit? Of course I don't. So who do I phone? I phone one of the Grootmans. Because I don't have the expertise or the skill set, but I can develop it. I brought in this Grootman, his name is Arnie Williams, okay? And I said, Uncle Arnie, how do we operate here? And he said, well, Striker has a solution called Second Check. The second check system works like this. We come into the building, we check everything. We check all of the COC requirements and how far you are from meeting them. This is everything. It's plumbing, it's electrical, it's signage, it's access control, emergency exits, fire escapes, fire in the event of fire, what do you call it? Extinguishers, structural integrity of the building, you name it, right? We come in and we check that stuff. And then we prepare you a report. The report is essentially a roadmap to say, what do I fix first? Okay, sharp. Long story short, we need to fix the plumbing. I don't know fuck all about plumbing. I just saw ukuthi kuyavuza lapha esinkin.
Sure.
Right? What do? I phone another Grootman. Wes Lang runs a electrical business. He's an electrician by profession. I asked him to come and look. When I looked at that place, I thought it was bad.
Sure.
It's like, this looks like it's a fuck up. But I don't know anything about electrical. So I bring him in. He looked at it and he said, this is a clusterfuck. There is illegal connections. There is bridging. There is this. There is that.
Yeah.
There's places where the wire is running from the globe in the ceiling, ikijimala, to come and run a plug with fridge.
Sure.
Sure. I'm like, yo, damn. He explains to me, boom. I'm like, Uncle Wes, the plumbing, I see the sink is leaking. He's like, sink is leaking? Nigga, this is happening and this is happening. You've got a much bigger crisis than that. Call this guy.
Sure.
Call in a plumber. What race is the plumber? White, Afrikaans. My friend, let me tell you something. If I can show you what it looked like compared to what these guys put together, you'll understand why umsebenzi wakhe. You understand? The plumber comes in, he looks at the thing, he says, no, this doesn't work because when your occupancy goes up, the number of people that are shitting goes up. If a building is designed for 600 people to be shitting, ingalunga. If 1,800 people start shitting into the same toilets and the same pipes, you're going to have a problem.
That's traffic, Baba.
Nasok. Multiply that by not only this building, the building next door, this one on this block, this one on this block, all of a similar size. What's going to happen underground, under the road with the sewage system? Disaster. Now, you're able to run as the city of Joburg runs, ignoring these things. Because there's people living there and they're living perfectly fine. They're happy with how they're living. You understand? Abanang king, they pay their rent for the most part.
Yeah.
Right? But I know, ngokubona kwami, this is not right. But I don't have the expertise to fix all the problems.
Yeah.
I'm here for one thing. I bring in that expertise from outside. I bring the most skilled people that I know. And within 2-3 months of us being on that building site, come and see what that building looks like now. Come and see the progress that we've made. Not me alone, as a team. Why can we not apply the same principle when it comes to the policies that we should be implementing to empower people? We need to get the most skilled into the positions where they are desperately needed. Case in point, the CBD. That issue that I just described, Uguti, what's causing this, that in the building is not only this way, it's also happening this way. In other words, the sewage system in town, when water goes off on Sunday and comes back on next week Saturday, the water infrastructure is collapsing, it's fucked. They can't give you a reason as to why. They say, oh no, the reservoir is empty. Then you found the next day, that's no longer the reservoir excuse. It's now, hey son, angazi kwaqhuma pipe kuphi. That's why there's no water.
Yes.
And I'm like, I even tweeted them and I said, guys, you look like you want a disaster to happen.
Yes.
Because the sewage, essentially, of those 1,800 people in this building and the 10,000 others around here that are shitting into a system that was designed to handle the shit of 3,000 people. My friend, it is now backing up back into the pipes of the building.
It's chilling.
When you walk around outside those buildings, iyavuza kanje at those outside drains. What now? Now it's a biohazard. Now people are going to get sick. Yeah. Now the rats are in charge. You see what I'm saying? How did this problem happen? Is it because the owner of this building neglected the building? Is it because the building was hijacked? Is it because COJ doesn't know what the fuck they're doing? It's a combination of all three. Because all three could have been prevented by COJ. COJ is in charge of making sure these things run. Arnie Williams has been able to create an entire business, all right, with that second check system because of how inept COJ is in checking these things. Yeah. Wes Lang has been able to create a massive electrical empire because he knows none of the COJ-owned buildings know what the fuck they're doing. So he can come in there and he can fix it and he can make money. He's an entrepreneur. How many kids, how many young blacks could Wes Lang train? How many young blacks could Werner train in that plumbing business? Because these are things, Penuel, we're never going to find a AI solution for infrastructure development. We're never going to find a technology solution, as in like sit behind a computer and make it happen. Someone actually has to do that work. And we are not training people to do it. We are not empowering people to do it, start their own businesses doing it because there's plenty to fix. But these guys, I think I requested a quote from that plumber brewer on Monday. My friend, he came 2 weeks later. He told me, my brother, I can come and quote you May 14. This was like on the 1st. And when I said to Wes, this brad's like, he doesn't want the work. He said, no, chief, this guy is running 6 teams on sites bigger than this. He's running teams on estates that are being built in Pretoria with like, you know, this 200 3-bedroom townhouse estates. They are doing the entire plumbing infrastructure. So the magnitude that this guy is working on, he's white. He's got his staff, but who is he training? What are we doing to incorporate those people with the scarce skills into the system so that we train the next generation? Fuck all. Because patronage. When a contract is given for City of Joburg to fix the shit pipes, who does it go to? Spanbani Plumbing. Connected to this fucking ex-hitman. How? Mausubon ukuthi umsebenzi is not done. You're like, how? But how did this tender of 300 million to sort out the sewage not get done? Niggas are sending bitches to France and putting them in fucking Rolls Royces, but the work is not done. And how many times has that happened? How many times have we seen that? You see what I'm saying? These are the people that we are supposed to celebrate as entrepreneurs. It can't work, my
I've got a lot of questions, man. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be able to get through this thing.
Well, let's go.
It's not going to work. Already from what you've said, I've got a lot of questions and a couple of notes. So I guess we'll see how far we get. You think BEE must be scrapped and we must implement meritocracy, regardless of race?
Regardless of race in the beginning, but you can incorporate race into the meritocracy in different ways. In other words, the black guy who knows nothing doesn't have to be in charge purely because he needs the score.
Yeah.
Put the guy who actually knows what the fuck he's doing in charge, actually in charge, right? And let him train these guys. Let's not see ourselves as, okay, let
me get you these things before I go to my other points. IPRI now is called Lilian Ngoyi.
Lilian Ngoyi, yes.
There are 5 pillars of broad-based black economic empowerment: ownership, management control, skills development, enterprise and supply development, and socio-economic development. These pillars form the basis of the triple BEE scorecard with points allocated to each element to determine a company's overall triple BEE level of compliance and contribution to economic transformation in South Africa. Based on what you just said, it sounds like your issue is ownership and maybe management control, but you seem to not have a problem with skills development, maybe enterprise and supply development, and socioeconomic development. So you're still happy with BEE. Your issue is with the people that own at the top.
I think that again, the intention behind what it's supposed to do, great, those 5 pillars. On those last 3 pillars, of the BEE tycoons that we know, that we can list here. We can list 10 names, but I don't want to make it anybody's problem in particular. Who have they enterprise developed?
I'm just asking.
I'm just saying.
You said you want meritocracy, but
yes,
you still want to incorporate black kids. And I'm
of
asking
course,
why.
I want to. Why? Because
So
that's
for example,
remember, the point of this is transformation. The point of it is empowerment.
You believe in transformation and
empowerment. Of course, we have to upskill people. I don't believe that we cannot just keep adding 10 million poor people a year. Like, that's not sustainable. And I believe, like, imagine if we could have, I'm sure I told you this before, but just in case, it's something I'm passionate about. I wanted to have the top 10 performers from every underprivileged school to be harvested. Let's go fetch them. And let's give them bursaries to study things that we need in our economy. Not to come and do a BA, corporate communication, public relations, international relations.
That's what they're passionate about.
Fuck that. No, those things are shit. They're useless. Those are shit degrees. Universities have created all these fucking extra qualifications so they can make money.
Sorry to all the BA students. Sorry to all the BA students.
Who absorbs those people into the jobs market? Because they're the same people crying on Twitter, I've got a degree, but I can't get employment. We hire some of them in the various businesses I've been in. They come there, my friend, they earn 12 grand. If they're lucky. They earn 8 grand. You studied for 4 years, you spent 50, 60,000 rand a year studying. We paid through NSFAS. So you can come and earn 8K.
Oh, but 12K is not bad though in this country.
It's okay to start. My point is, we have enough of you. Don't study that. Please study something else and incentivize them to study something else. In Norway, right, in the Scandinavian countries, they were incentivizing women to study fields in STEM, particularly engineering, because, they've got that whole system of how they generate energy. Like, what's it called? Fuck. I'll
in
Google
Norway,
it now.
I'll look it up.
Norway, Finland, those Scandinavian.
How they generate electricity?
Electricity, in the fucking mountains there. Iceland, those places, whatever it's called. Anyway, there's a big need for engineers. So they were like, yo, we want more women engineers. So if you're a woman and you want to study engineering, first of all, we'll pay for it. Second of all, we'll give you a car. Third of all, we'll give you a 2-bedroom apartment in Camps Bay. I'm making an example, right? That's so that more women would be like, fuck. If I go and study nursing, I get fuck all and I have to pay for it myself. But if I study this engineering thing, I get a car, I get a house, and I'm going to earn top dollar, right?
Let me read this for you. Scandinavian electricity generation relies heavily on renewable and low carbon sources with significant hydropower. In Norway and Sweden, nuclear power in Sweden and Finland, and growing wind power in Denmark. Iceland also generates a substantial amount of power from geothermal and hydropower. This diverse and interconnected energy mix, supported by the common Nordic grid, makes the region a model for low CO2 electricity production, despite high consumption.
That's the one, right? So in order to encourage more women, because obviously everyone there is white, they don't need to empower blacks.
But that's women empowerment.
That's women empowerment. It's the same principle though. You want to empower blacks, give them the skills. How do I get to be as good as you? In security, when I want to go and train how to shoot my gun in different situations, I'm not training with blacks. I'm training with those boers, those anti-poaching boers. Do you know why? Those motherfuckers are on that anti-poaching run every weekend. They are like the guys that have gone to Iraq on tours. They're guys who used to be contracted to Blackwater Tactical in the States. They're guys that go and serve if there's job opportunities in the Ukraines of the world for border patrol on the Polish border. These motherfuckers have got passports, they've got skill sets, and they've got the will to go and work there. I'm yet to meet a black person in the security industry that's done that sort of journey. The reason that this white guy is doing that sort of journey is because he wants to upskill himself to a level where when he offers training in the sector, you're working with the best in the business, right? That's the guy I want to train with. Now, let's assume that guy takes 5 black guys from me. My Nkabis there from Hillbrow, the ones that they don't have guns, they don't have money, and they don't have the expertise, right? But they've got the will, they want to learn, they're in their 20s. I take those 5 and I fund it myself, right? I pay 36 or 40,000 rand for them to do a course. I think that's about 3 months or something like that, right? Not even 3 months, maybe 6 weeks or however long it is. Say it's 50 grand. I need 300,000 or 200,000, sorry, to train 4 oaks, 250,000 train 5 oaks. At the end of it, if I say 250,000 buys me 3 months of training, right? Let's say R1,000,000 buys me 1 year, 2 years of training at that level that guy is on. Now I've got somebody that I can contract out to Blackwater Tactical to go work in Iraq. I'm making an example. I can contract out to the Russia-Ukraine border to go and work on the border with Poland. So I was like getting like stupid rates, bro. Also going to be coming back there with like $1,500, $2,000 a day. That black guy from Hillbrow earning 30 grand a day, what the fuck? It'll change his whole life. Then he saves up his 30,000 a day that he earns over a period of 90 days. Boss, when he comes back here, he's sitting on what's that, 18 bars. You understand what I'm saying? He's moving. He takes his 18 bars and he says, Sharp, I'm starting my own training academy to train other blacks. Because he's got the skills from the white guy. I've empowered that fucking broer. It's cost me R1,000,000, but I've got a guy that I've contracted out and made my money back from, and I've got a share in a school that trains other blacks to be on that level of skill. And that's my industry. There's absolutely nothing stopping them from doing it in every industry. They're training no one. They take Penuel, they say, you always speak favorably about the movement on your podcast. Me, nah, tender. You know fuck all about mining. Nothing. They give you a tender. What do you do with the money that gets paid into your account every month? You fuck whores, you buy a whole lot of cars, you in the club smoking cigars, ubhizinge ifebe nje la sikubona khona, ushama KONVO ukusuka eGoli, uye eThekwini ngemoto zu20. What's on pen? Who are you empowering?
I must have a good time.
I have one, but who are you empowering? It's an
I'm
empowerment.
empowering the girls.
The thing is literally called black
The girls around me, so I'm
economic
being empowered.
empowerment, not black baby. What is this? What impepation is?
Upeppington.
Upeppington.
King of
The
the P and PEE is for Peppington. Economic empowerment. So I'm listening to you, Warras, and it sounds like you still support PEE.
No,
You just
not
want
in
it
its
tweaked.
current guild. I support empowerment of blacks. Blacks live a fucking shit life.
Because
Blacks'
in
lives are
the
shit.
examples that you made, part of the complaints that you hear from other races, in particular white people, is those talented black kids from the schools, when you give them opportunities, it's at the disadvantage of white kids.
Ganjan.
Because those white kids don't get those opportunities. So the one thing is the shares. The other thing is you're employing these guys.
Yes.
There are people saying, but there are white kids that also need these opportunities.
Yes. Yes, they are. And I'm not saying, if we take out of the entirety of the matriculants every year, okay? If we have to take every single white kid who gets 4 distinctions, like I'm saying, it's the top 10 performers. If we take every single white kid in the top 10 percentile, my friend, we're not even going to hit 100,000. Because how many whites are there in total in the country? 3 million.
But they are saying now that they don't have opportunities because black people are being brought in for jobs.
Then they're talking shit. This is my thing.
You don't believe them?
No, it's not that they don't have opportunities.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I understand what they're trying to say. They're saying, what about a plan for us? What about an empowerment move for us? And I'm saying, who is us? If us is the top percentile, performance-based, we can't empower everyone. A good example is NSFAS, right, is a massively expensive thing. Everybody gets NSFAS. NSFAS should be reserved for the top percentile within reason. If you want to study BA corporate communication, you can't get NSFAS.
But
Sorry.
what should happen to those kids?
What should happen to them? They must go study, boss. They must make a plan. Go work, save up money, go study corporate BA.
So they mustn't get
Wait,
tertiary
let me tell you why.
Sure.
Because we are happy. Where are you being absorbed into the market? Because it's a what do you call it? It's a saturated industry. Why is NSFAS funding the study of courses that are already saturated? If I want to study actuarial science and I matriculate with 8 distinctions, it doesn't matter what color I am. I'm getting a bursary. Because the number of kids that are performing at my level is so few. They can't give the bursaries away fast enough. My cousin did biomedical at WITS, BSc, right? She's colored, Muslim, okay? She did it. She got a degree. She did her honors. After getting her honors, fortunately for her, during COVID, when the vaccines were being developed and we were looking at how COVID is, she was she was working in a lab where they were studying that type of shit, right? Obviously, like in an intern basis. They weren't like fucking finding a cure or some shit. But she worked as part of this team. Now, COVID was a once in a lifetime opportunity. It was a pandemic in our lifetime. So as a result, she has now, Friday, 3 days from now, she is leaving South Africa. She's going to the UK. She's been given a bursary internship thing there where she earns a salary, like a stipend, and gets to do her master's at an institution that, as a result of the work she did in COVID, is looking for people like her. It means she is part of a very select group. UK is taking her. So she can go. I don't even know because I don't understand it. Sure. DJ. But I know Uguti, she's getting paid like £2,000 a month to be there. She gets accommodation. She has a transport allowance. She attends and goes to campus. And at the end of it, she comes home with a master's in this biomedical, whatever the offshoot of that field is. Do you understand?
So the elite are never a problem. We're worried about the rest of the population.
She's dirt poor. She's fucking poor.
No, by elite, I mean you spoke about high performers.
Yes.
So that's a small band. And
yes.
The concern is not for them because she's wanted by the UK.
100%.
I mean, if she was a white girl, she'd be wanted by whoever as well.
She'd be wanted by them as well.
The concern is for everyone else. And I guess for white people as well. Their concern is we hear you on the smart white kids.
Yeah.
But our not so smart white kids are being left out for black kids who are on the same level as these white kids but can't get in. Because it's like, no, we'll take the black kids.
That's a fair point. We'll take the black kids even though they fucking not the best. Okay, that is a fair point. Those whites are being left out. I don't think they should be left out. I don't think it's fair. By and large, everybody has physiological needs for food and water. And you can't food, water, shelter. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. As an adult, in order to get food, water, and fucking shelter, you have to pay for it.
Yes.
Which means you need to have an opportunity to find a job. If you are shutting people out who've done nothing, these kids have done nothing, because you're putting in blacks and they are purposely being excluded, that's a different matter. If blacks take the positions first, it's a tough one. You understand?
Why are you saying the white kids have done nothing?
No, because, bro, the white kids have done nothing. What have they done? What have I done as an 18-year-old white?
Beneficiaries of a system.
No, but what have they done in their personal capacity?
They are beneficiaries.
What have they done in their personal capacity?
But that shouldn't matter, right?
So as a beneficiary of a system, if I can't afford bread because I don't have a job, must I die?
It means the rich white people that benefited are not giving you opportunities.
What if I'm not a rich white person? I'm
no,
a poor white.
I'm saying you're a poor white.
Middle class white.
There's a system that benefited whites who are rich.
Okay.
You can't get a job because they don't want to let you in because they already have the money.
Okay.
So, for example, our economy and our land is biased towards white people.
Yes.
So, if a white kid's looking for an opportunity, they shouldn't need it in a black government or a BEE-rated company. They should get it in white-owned companies because they already have an advantage.
Yes, but how many white-owned companies are there? And who says I want to work there? What if I want to work in government? I'm a white kid. I want to work at ESCOM because I want to study engineering. And I did relatively well at school.
But
those are the guys. But we need that guy.
Argument. So what you're saying now.
But wait.
Hear me.
Hear what we sacrifice.
You use the Nordic Scandinavian countries. There's a boy who wants the same opportunities, but they're only for girls. And the argument is you men benefited from a system that was, and the boy's like, I'm 18. I wasn't fucking there being patriarchal. But you're excluding me and you're taking this girl and you're giving her a flat in Camps Bay at my exclusion.
That is exactly the criticism of that very system that smarter thinkers than me were making in the panel discussion that I listened to. And it is the exact point I made at the beginning to say policies like this have been tried elsewhere. And not to say they failed, but there's always losers.
Yeah.
Right? There's always losers. But we cannot throw away the baby with the bathwater because we are also at a point now as a country with things like BEE, with things like the way shit is run, where it is at a critical level. Right? People are sitting without water in Bedford View right now as we speak on this podcast. I think they're on 17 days. What in the fuck? You understand? Why?
But it sounds like you're saying it's because
I'm saying it's
white people are not in power.
No, I'm saying it's because it manifests it's in the end. So when it starts, this is the idea. Then we implement it. Then we see that it's not exactly being implemented the way it was intended and people are taking advantage of it. But we let it run. Eventually, somewhere down the line, it manifests itself in things fucking out.
Correct.
I'm not making it specifically about water. I'm just trying to use something relatable that anybody can go and Google and read about. Right? And when you look at some of the names of people who are involved from a legislative level, government level in water and sanitation, and the people who are awarded contracts on water and sanitation, go look at those names. Then it makes sense because the system of patronage and the advantages of PEE are benefiting certain people and everybody's losing. Because manje, it's now the chickens are coming home to roost. Water, one example. Should we let that happen with everything? It happened with fucking electricity. It happened now with water. It's happening with the steel industry. It's happening in the mining sector.
Healthcare.
It's happening in healthcare.
Schooling,
it's happening
education.
in police. It's happening in education. You see, it's falling. The dominoes have fallen now. And what is changing about that trajectory? Is it not time to go back to the drawing board and say, yo, when you say white people, take race out of it. Let us talk about qualified people. Let us talk about people who are the most skilled in that sector.
That's merit.
That's merit. The color of the person.
That's why I'm asking.
Is
Why do you
immaterial.
still want to empower black people in that if you're speaking merit? Because that's
Of course I want to, because
that's why I went through the pillars.
This is our place, bro. We can't be excluded forever. But the way we need to be included is we need to get something out. All of us must be able to get something out.
So we had BEE,
Yeah.
and then it was revised to triple BEE. And listening to you, it sounds like you just want a revision. It doesn't sound like you want it scrapped. That's why I'm raising the other pillars, because yes, they may not be implemented right,
They're not.
but you still seem to want black kids to be empowered.
I do, but wait.
Which will come at the disadvantage.
The 5 things that the way the legislation is now must be scrapped. That does not mean that we should stop empowering black people. It
Why?
means we should stop the system of patronage. It means companies should not be getting tenders based on the fact that they know the president. It means that no one should be getting a health tender worth 350 million when they have no experience in the health sector.
Sure.
It means that you need an Adrian Gore, you need a Mark Barnes, the guy from Post Office, you need a flippin', who else is a good example? What's the fucking Capitec Brew's name now? It escapes me.
It's either Rian Stassen or Michael Leroux.
The brewers, right?
Yeah.
Let's take health and let's use Adrian Gore as an example. That's the guy that needs to be the head of the board of how we are fucking fixing this health thing. Because the business that he's built as Discovery Health and the way that Discovery Health, basebenzana nabo netcare, nabo life, the hospitals. Why is it that they are profitable every year and when you go there, it's a fucking absolute pleasure and you leave alive? Whereas the one that's got 10 times their budget, you understand? 100 times. Go there. It's fucked. Everything's fucked. Why is it fucked? Because from an administrative level, the people that have been put in the positions have been put there because they're black first. And then whatever skill set they have second. I'm saying,
Which administration?
use the people, the health sector.
Okay.
So
I'll disagree with you, but you can carry on.
It's an example.
No,
I'm
no
saying,
problem.
Yeah.
I need to defend health in particular.
If I'm
but
taking health
I hear
and
your
I'm
point.
I'm comparing it to private health,
Yeah.
I'm saying that the private health has proven its track record much better. We need something that's there. We need it here. We don't have it.
Has private health and private schooling ever had to deal with the numbers that public health and public schooling have to deal with?
Even more reason for them to fucking start bringing in skills from there.
No, I'm
They
just
haven't.
asking. So when you measure, because this becomes
Yeah.
one of the counters, and there's a couple of them, and I want to ask 2 more questions before I go on.
Yeah.
Nah, let me not counter. I think
But
your
you understand
point
what
is
I'm
understood.
saying? Yes.
I won't counter.
I'm saying fetch something from there because it's working there. Yes,
Sure.
I agree. Obviously, the scale on which this one is happening is vastly larger. But that's not an excuse for it to be failing. It's actually a reason
I agree
for
with
you
merit.
to start insourcing skills because clearly you can't handle it. So what should we just scrap the whole health system and let people die? That's not going to work. Who dies first? The illegal immigrants. No. You understand what are we doing here?
Okay.
You know?
Let me finish these questions. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I gave you 10
Let's
questions.
go to the crime one.
We're still on number 1. No, I need to finish this one.
Okay.
I'd rather we do one only and make sure
No.
that we exhaust it decently. You say empowerment you don't think works historically. Dan Corder would sit on What Now with Trevor Noah, and he'd speak about the apartheid system as a form of white economic empowerment.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you if you believe that Afrikaners, the ordinary Afrikaner was scammed during apartheid to a point where the same thing we're seeing with our BE tycoons now. There's a bunch of very wealthy white Afrikaners who we normally call the Stellenbosch Mafia.
Yeah.
But they became rich at the expense of the ordinary Afrikaner, which is why the ordinary Afrikaner today can't start a business, can't get a job. And then when we come and we criticize, like, but you guys are apartheid, it's like, no, I'm not Johan Rupert.
Yes.
So do you think there's a chance that in the same way you're saying empowerment doesn't generally work anyway, do you think they were also scammed? And maybe that's also why it didn't last. And that's why some of them are struggling to get jobs now, because clearly there's a story we're not telling of white economic empowerment that was not sustainable. And as small of a percentage as they were, it still couldn't absorb
All of
and empower all of them.
Yes. On the point of it was a much smaller system to manage.
Yeah.
Less people to empower.
Yeah.
Less people to employ. But look at what Spoornet did in terms of employment. If you worked for Spoornet, you got a railway house, even if you drove a train, which means you had a home, a 3-bedroom family home. You had a pension, you had medical aid, and you had a salary every month. Okay? I'm using Spoornet as an example. You could do the same thing with ISCO. You could do the same thing with ESCOM. Right? What they did is, yes, they were empowering much fewer people. Okay? I don't think they were scammed. I think something about Afrikaners that I've learned growing up in Vryheid. Afrikaners are fucking kutele, dog. They get shit done and they do shit for themselves. Case in point, I'm working with an Afrikaner plumber now. This motherfucker's like 3rd generation plumbing.
Sure.
He knows his fucking story. But look how he learned how to plumb. He learned it from the previous generation of Afrikaner. And that one learned it from the previous generation of Afrikaner. I learned fuck all from my father. He was a welder. I don't know how to weld. Fair enough, I don't need welding.
I'm asking about...
I'm just, wait, so
Sure,
I'm
sorry,
saying,
sorry.
so now Mamapun, right?
Yeah.
Why do some of the ones who are successful, and I'm not going to the Rupert level, I'm going to this, let's go to this middle tier, the ones who've just built their own business and they do really, really well. What sectors are those businesses in? A lot of them are in farming and farming related things. A lot of them are in mining and mining related things. When I say mining related things, think about the employment creation mining, the employment that mining creates, all the other stuff that comes with owning a mine and needing to purchase on a mine and supplies for a mine and skills for a mine. They are the majority of people who've got that shit. If you go to a town like Woodbank or fucking, what's the other one?
Woodbank?
Why?
Maybe it's
Middelburg.
Okay.
Right? That's the coal belt. I've been there. Fucking frolicked around there. When there was a fucking serious disaster crisis at the mines where me and the other blacks were working, you know who we found? Giovanni. Gert. Koos. What the fuck is Koos? These guys have got great working relationships now, but Koos is still the guy that comes and fixes the problem. Now, this is something I personally observed with my own 2 eyes while trying to learn something, do something, and make money.
Sure.
Right? Abokoas are not the first generation of people that are in that. You understand? Afrikaners have got this lineage of sorts where skills are passed down, where there is this healthy camaraderie, where they empower each other by upskilling each other because they do not accept that Koos comes to work drunk every day. Koos is fucking bitches at Durban, July and driving a Rolls Royce while the infrastructure is collapsing. They don't accept that. Koos is at work on time and he delivers. Right? So the ones that, again, the size of the system they needed to sustain, much smaller than the one that the blacks have got to sustain. But if it's a much bigger system, surely it's a terrible idea for the first call that you make to literally decimate the numbers of skilled people who have been sustaining the system thus far. You take them all out and you replace them with your own Owens. That is fucking dumb. They did that with the army. They did that with the police. Look at the army. Look at the police. You understand what I'm saying? There used to be like legendary
we're not
police
speaking about the same thing.
What do you mean?
So you spoke about Afrikaners that do things for themselves
Yes.
and generational skills. I have huge respect for them,
Yeah.
whether it's Afrikaner or anyone else. We're speaking Black economic empowerment, and we're speaking Black people who have become rich overnight.
Right.
And I'm asking from a perspective of when the Afrikaner National Party came in, they also took over a budget.
Yes.
And they also had funding mechanisms, your IDC and the like. And there were a couple of white Afrikaans people that became insanely rich, just like our BEE guys. And I'm asking if the ordinary Afrikaner was scammed because, number one, he had to learn from his dad. He wasn't actually empowered by the system. And number two, today they're struggling because they realize that apartheid only benefited a few families. We may have gotten jobs because there were a few of us and they favored us in terms of employment equity. But the reality is these guys got rich alone, which is what we're seeing now. Because the ANC today can also say, but you are now a doctor and a lawyer and you got funding from the IDC. This is what we've done for you. They make the same argument and we feel like we've been scammed. And I'm asking, do you not think ordinary white people were also scammed by that government? It just doesn't look as bad because it's not large scale.
I think it doesn't look as bad because it's not large scale, A. And B, I think expressed as a percentage, theirs is far smaller than what ours is.
But you wouldn't see it.
We've been
because-
scammed more. You don't see it. How
I'm saying-
often
I'm
do you
saying
really bump
I'm
into...
saying you wouldn't see it because the white people who got on with it, who didn't wait for government, are fine.
Exactly.
So they don't look like they're
But then-
struggling.
okay.
But they're not like Black citizens today who said, let's get on with it. For example, if Black people in this country said, fuck government, let's run spaza shops, the taxi industry, let's build, fuck government, we also wouldn't see how bad corruption is. We see it now because people are so dependent.
True.
And I think because white people got on with it and they didn't become dependent,
We don't see it
You
as much.
won't see it, yeah.
We don't see it as much. And that's what my question was going to be. How often do you really see a downtrodden white 50, 60-year-old? Often when I do, I see them in the South,
Sure.
in the Albertons. I see them in Pretoria. All of them have got some form of alcohol or drug dependency.
Sure.
They can argue all they want.
My
There's a
last-
place in Pretoria called the Groentam. Everybody there is an addict of some sort.
Jesus
Comes
Christ.
from a background of abuse. That's also not exactly the best way to start out in life. But remember what I said. There will always be losers in every system. But you've got to try and design the system in such a way that there must be as little losers as possible. As many people as possible need to develop benefit from it. And BEE and triple BEE, the legislation as it currently stands, the way it is in practice, clusterfuck. It's doing the opposite.
My last question on BEE. You made an example of work that you've done, and I'd like to assume that the three people you referenced were white people.
Yes. No, one's a colored.
One's a colored. Shout out to the colored O. The biggest issue we have is without legislation, white people don't want to pass the skills because the same people you're referencing, at least the two white, my question would be, okay, we see BEE and catered deployment and whatever, but where are the Black people that you are empowering to show us that we actually don't need the legislation?
I don't agree that they don't want to pass the skills. I think that if you look at other countries, like with anything, if you want people to give off their resources, their time, their effort, you need to incentivize them. Now, there's plenty of opportunity, there's plenty of room for incentive for business owners to upskill Black people. One of them is you give them tax breaks. You say you take on the cost of training Penuel and making sure that in the next 5 years, Penuel can start his own plumbing business, and you are going to give him, let's say, 10% of...
But you know they don't do that.
I'm making an example.
I know, but I'm saying you know they don't do that.
Well, how are they incentivized for doing it?
So what these
Do they get anything in return?
So what these companies do, the incentive is BEE. So you'll get a government tender because you're transformed, because you do skills development, enterprise development. They go and they find Black guys to front.
Yes.
They don't upskill them. They still do the work.
Sharp.
So they don't really pass on the skills. And part of it, look, is business. Why would I want to upskill my competitor tomorrow? But they're not upskilling because you know
I don't think that happens.
If there was a case study where you say Black government has fucked up, but look at white business people and how many Blacks they've empowered. We don't have that, which means they're not doing it.
Yeah, but
you can't get white farmers who are going to show you,
Yeah.
these are all the Black farmers I've developed without government.
Exactly.
They don't do it.
Yes, but I don't think that's your opinion. I don't think that you and I can sit here and base that on a fact that we know that they are actively, I don't know, meeting and saying, man, foggy swarters. Ons gaan nie hulle aansit. Or however you say, I'm not going to put them on.
What's my opinion?
I'm saying what you're saying is your opinion. I
Yes,
don't
which
think
part?
that you and I could prove that white people are actively trying to not work with blacks or not upskill blacks. I don't think so. Okay. I think that legislatively, right? So from a legislative perspective, from a PR perspective, from a fucking education perspective, I don't think that government system is designed to say, hey, whites, this is the offer we are making as government. We have a system where we select the top 10 students from every underprivileged school every year. It goes onto a database. On that database, every child puts there what they would like to become. We also have an AI running in the background that makes suggestions to these kids of where scarce skills, which industries have got a shortage of scarce skills, so that we can look at, remember at school we had to do those, what are they called, those tests to say, should you study engineering, should you study this, should you study that? Based on that information,
Psychometric,
yes,
aptitude.
I can then, as the owner of the white plumbing, security, farming, whatever business, I can look at that and say, how? Nangu Sipo. I'll take Sipo, I'll take Penuel, and I'll take Warwick. Okay, obviously I'm simplifying it, right? I will take these three. They're going to work with me for the next 5 years, and I'm going to cover the cost of their studies, right? In exchange, government says, thank you. That same checklist of BEE, you've now ticked the empowerment checklist 1, 2, 3, 4. In 5 years, we check that shit. Because for the next 5 years that you are doing this development thing and the studies and whatever, we're going to be checking. No problem. This year at SARS, you paid us 4 million, pay us 2 million. Because you're using the money elsewhere. You're redistributing the funds, okay? Whether it's in the form of taxation or whatever fees. A lot of businesses have also got ridiculously high licensing fees, I'll have you know. Right? Sharp. After the 5 years, here's Penuel, right? Penuel needs to be assessed by an independent board in that industry. There are independent boards in every industry. Am I right or wrong? Right. They need to come and see, is Penuel upskilled and did you deliver on the Penuel promise from 5 years ago? If yes, thank you. We shake hands. Penuel goes and starts his own business. Based on that tax that you were paying to SARS, there's an allocation of that 4 million that goes into a funding vehicle for the Penuel that leaves the school of Warras plumbing. Okay? Penuel starts his business. Now Penuel is working. We have upskilled, we have empowered, and we have developed Penuel. We extrapolate that by the 100, by the 1,000. It's a system designed by government that starts at your matriculation level into your varsity level. You have this buddy system where you're training the young and the hungry now, which we should have started 30 years ago, but I digress. You're training the young and the hungry now so that in the next 20 years, we're not sitting in the shit that we're in after 20 years, 30 years, right? The incentive must be there, and the incentive, it must almost be enforced. Then you'll see the whites will do it because it makes business sense. No one is going to say no to that deal. You're going to save a shitload of money.
The stuff you just mentioned exists.
Exists where? Fuck, I don't see it.
So you get tax incentives for, let's say, offering scholarships as an example. If you look at places like the Department of Labor, they do partner with farmers, white farmers, for mentorship, and they get benefits, whether it's paid or BEE scores or whatever, and they get work from the government. They get resources and tools from the government.
Okay.
CETA was set up specifically to
I know about CETA.
To try and check that, is this person now qualified?
Right.
And we have a lot of government funding agencies for these kids that have gone through these programs, where the white mentor goes and ticks and says, this guy has done it. Our government has farms. They've got different funds for manufacturing. There's tax breaks depending on the industry that you're in. So these things exist. Right. We can maybe argue implementation, but
Can I say one thing? I just need to know the name.
So there are tax breaks. And then, like I said, there's BEE work as well that you can get from government or government-affiliated companies.
Yes. Okay. I love that you mentioned CETA because I know CETA does that. And just recently, recent memory, 2-3 months ago, what happened with that fucking lady from CETA? CETA is a clusterfuck. So the organization that's meant to oversee these things is fucked. They're
No.
trying to eat money. The other one from
That's
the
all
other
true.
place that was funding, that tried to give the bribe to the poor, there's 60,000. So the custodians of the thing, yes, it exists. What I said now, someone listening might think, wow, Warras is brilliant. I'm not. For me, it's like common sense.
Sure.
In my school, we used to have a top 10. You got to fucking scroll, bro. It was a big deal if you made it to top 10. All of us were getting at least 3 or 4 A's, distinctions. And we matriculated like that. You know who these kids are, bro. From grade 9, you will be able to identify who are we trying to develop. We do the same thing with rugby. We see a Kolisi there when he's in grade 8 and we're like, hey, hy kan hardloop. Hy lyk sterk. Vat hom. Sit hom in grace. Today, he's the captain of the Springboks. He's fantastically wealthy. He's an ambassador for the sport and for the nation. He was developed. We're not doing that with ordinary blacks. We're certainly not doing it on a scale where it has an impact, because it's a box that they tick. They don't actually give a fuck about it. And these incentives, yes, they do exist, but the people that oversee the incentives and the incentive structure, they themselves are corrupt. Why? Where do they come from? The comrade deployment. None of them are professionals who've built anything outside of the portfolio that they are gifted.
Let me read these other questions. I hope you'll keep it short in the
Yes,
interest
I'll
of
try,
time.
my friend. But I love that we had the PEE one.
No, it's very important.
Yes.
Look, the other ones could also be take an hour, but we'll play with
We
the
don't
time that
have
we
5
have. And
hours.
if ever we do this again,
Do the
go
ones that
harder.
are relevant for now.
Let
Because
me-
I think some of them, like the one about whore bags, we can save that one.
Jesus Christ. Can I go through the questions and then you'll
Whore
pick?
bags are always trending.
It's whatever he's got in his vape. I don't think it's him. It's the vape talking. Stop vaping, kids.
Yeah,
How do we fix crime in the Cape Flats? Do you have any opinion on that?
very simple.
What
Okay, next one.
What do you think will happen? And yes, it should actually be called the Mkhwanazi Commission of Inquiry. I know now it's named after the judge because they normally do that. But
Bruh.
what do you think is going to happen there?
Fuck all.
What business would you go into if ever we sort out the crime issue in South Africa? Because you're in the security space. And one of my concerns, I mean, you made examples about guys that are making profits from the incompetence and the mismanagement of government. Adrian Gore being a good example as well. What happens if ever government gets their shit together? Because these guys make a lot of money. Where do they go if we were to resolve those issues? What would be your suggestion with the colored community in South Africa? I mean, especially with the trending stories that came up recently. Do you have any opinions there or not that look, maybe leave coloreds alone, or maybe this is what we should do? If money did not control politics, what other fair way could we use to pick the best leaders for South Africa?
If the sky wasn't blue, would it be red?
Jesus. These ones are combined. And these ones are now geopolitics and African politics. These ones we don't have to talk about at all. Do you think Ibrahim Traore is a puppet for Russia?
No,
Do you think Paul Kagame is a puppet for America?
no.
Who runs the ANC after Cyril Ramaphosa, in your opinion? And then last but not least, should state-owned enterprises be taken away from government? This is the talk now about privatization. And should government, members of parliament, etc., only focus on lawmaking and service delivery?
I'll start with the issue of crime on the Cape Flats, Wentworth, Westbury. I use the colored areas as an example, but the Cape Flats actually incorporates also Langa, Khayelitsha, because they're so close in proximity to each other.
Thank you for saying that. I just want to say this because I know I've said it before and I want to say it again. I grew up thinking that the Cape Flats was a block of flats in Cape Town full of
I
colored
also
people.
did. Yeah, I thought it was flats.
Only to learn that the flats in Cape Flats is for flatlands. And it's
Flatlands,
basically
yes.
all the townships, black.
And there happens to be
Coloured.
blocks of flats there.
They happen to have block
Now,
of
let
flats,
me tell
but
you-
it's the Kasis of coloreds and blacks
Now,
in the Western Cape.
here's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Wherever those block of flats are in Cape Town, it's a fuck show. It's a war zone. Wherever there are those block of flats in Wentworth, in Sydenham Heights, the colored areas in Durban, fuck up. Wherever those block of flats are in Joburg, like Westbury, in Stateless Street, the flats, fuck up. Wherever those block of flats are in America, in Chicago, right? 63rd and 64th. Most violent area in America, almost. Is where young King Von and them are from. They shoot each other.
Rest in peace to King Von,
Rest
man.
in peace to King
And
Von.
those other fucking dumb rappers that kill each other because they think it's cool.
Yes, Bo Duck, Usman Bani, and young this one.
So stupid.
It's this, in America, they call it the projects. It's the structure where you put these people into these block of flats, and the outcome is always the same. They turn to gangsterism, drug abuse, all of the immorality under the sun, and people die in numbers.
They kill each other.
Right. So clearly, that shit needed to be dismantled. It's happening in the Cape Flats now. Dismantle that, right? Just as an observation.
The structure of living.
The literal structure of living.
Sorry, before we carry on, is it not too cold?
No, it's fine. It's cold on the hands.
It's a bit 80 blow van onze hemel for me.
Yeah, I'm klappers nightly, man.
Is it not feeling a bit...
It's feeling a bit chilly.
Ons eet biltong en...
Now we can take any condition.
I think I'm fine.
Okay, can you please... Minafet, I'm wearing a sweater and I'm getting a bit cold, sorry. Break the structures.
Right, so break the structure, right? I think you need to separate. Those people live in a very, very condensed...
Too cramped.
Too cramped.
Like rats, like
Bad.
cockroaches.
Yes, right? I see a similar thing in the CBD, but the CBD comes with the benefit of the structure of those buildings, the actual structure, physical structure, creates the conditions for control. There is no conditions for control in those areas. The streets don't even have names. You've seen, if you've never been, I've been, so I've seen it firsthand. But if you've never been to Alexandra, Diepsloot, certain areas in Soweto, in the areas in Soweto where there's standalone houses, fences, driveways, and streets with tar,
Diepkloof.
there's not much shit going on there. It's
too
perfectly
lekker.
safe. But in the areas of Soweto, like Snake Park, towards Protea, Zolamdeni, problems, right? Same thing. The Cape Flats problem is unique in that they've got this factor of space and the geography, right? And then on top of that, they've got this factor of gangsterism, which is ingrained in the colored community. I've told you before on this show that even me, I have family who are gangsters. Some of them are in jail for heinous crimes. Some of them are out of jail. Some of them have been to jail for murder, you name it. A lot of them, those same ones that have been to jail and come out for murder, if you go to Aldo's and you say their name, everybody knows it, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? So, utumile. Utumangayo lento le of being a gangster. That's not good because it creates the wrong heroes for the ones on the come.
The movies also don't help. And our series, even in this country,
There we
don't
go.
help. Yeah.
Exactly the same in a Chicago. I'm using Chicago as an example because it's a universal problem.
Sure.
The way that one can come in and solve it is the problem also existed somewhere else. That place is called Bukele land.
Oh, your faith.
Yes. How did Bukele solve the problem in
El Salvador.
El Salvador? He fought fire with fire. You have to put the hammer down. There must be zero tolerance. And in order for there to be zero tolerance, we have to, unfortunately, take it however the fuck you want, we have to suspend what we have now put under this massive banner of human rights.
Hey, shout out to the South African Human Rights Commission.
Fuck them.
Yes, they fucking piss me off.
Right.
Ay, ay, ay.
There's a guy, one of my favorite guys as well, gave a speech just yesterday where he was saying exactly what I'm saying. And that's why he's my guy. His name is Donald Trump. Trump came into DC. DC's crime was out of control. He's very smart, that guy. Super smart. Using
Who's
DC,
super smart?
Trump. Using Washington, D.C. as an example, he said, this is our nation's capital. Okay? First of all, there are certain parts of it that look like a shithole. We get millions of international visitors every year because it's a tourist attraction. Those visitors might have their cell phone stolen or get stabbed in the fucking neck for walking down the road. Unacceptable. Over and above the fact of outsiders being victims of crime, the locals of DC are killing each other in record numbers. 40, 50 people a week are being shot. Unacceptable. He sent in the National Guard, which means he increased the number of police and the skill set of those police. This is not ordinary SAPs. This is special forces level and above.
Oh, not
that
soldiers.
were brought in. No,
When you say National Guard, it's not
it's
soldiers.
not soldiers. It's like somewhere between police and soldiers.
Okay.
All right. I think the National Guard is federal police, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. But anyway, sends in the National Guard. What happens? crime rate goes to fucking 0 in 3 weeks. 0 murders, I think for the first time in something like 17 years, right? Might not be 17 years exactly because, people nitpick. But point is, when he put the hammer down, kwathula. It's once you've got control, and again, I use the building that we went into as an example. Oh, just to add to that point. Yes, the white man is a plumber. Yes, the white man is a fucking COC compliance guy. And yes, the colored man is the electrician. But when the building was hijacked and we needed to get in and actually fight the fight about how do we reverse the hijacking, I didn't use white guys. I used Zulus.
Come on.
That's it. Ulanda Mabuto.
Dankie.
Right? You need to come into the Cape Flats with a zero tolerance attitude. Anyone, it's not difficult to get the information on who the gangsters are. They are known. But the anti-gang unit has got its hands full. And they put their lives and the lives of their families at risk because the system that's meant to support them, as we've learned from our Bram Kwanazi, is corrupt. Right? I believe Mkwanazi 100% because I see it every day. They don't want to fix it because there's somehow, some way that they benefit from it.
All of us believed Mkwanazi. We were just really shocked and surprised and excited because it came from him and his level.
Another red flag was when Paul O'Sullivan came out and said, what is Mkwanazi talking about? His
Huge
wife
red flag.
had her handbag. I said, well, there we go. Now I believe the nigga times 100. Because where do you come from, nigga?
Yeah.
That guy called serious people to get an interview. Who the fuck wants to hear from Paul O'Sullivan? Anyway, here we are in the Cape Flats. We send in the fucking hammers. Bobe, the battalion of special forces. We need to develop a police force that is somewhere between police and army. I would import the lot. I would import them. I'd train them in South Africa for a year so they understand the terrain. And those are the people I'd send in. Because you remove that element where Warras from Extension Banban is the same guy shooting Ngule now.
Yeah.
Now you know me. I take you out.
Also shooting your mate
says that
you went to school with.
Exactly. What do? You shoot my kids when they're pulling up at school or my wife.
Yeah.
You understand?
Those are some of the things we're
If you're
struggling with.
asking me to go in and put the hammer down, but I know that my wife and kids, every day, they need to go to a middle-class school. I don't have bodyguards.
Sure.
My kids are not going to Bishops. You understand? I can't. Lawyers were shot outside private schools in Cape Town. Who the fuck am I as an anti-gang unit member? Because these people know each other. They grew up together and they come from the community. You need to have those people deliver the skills and the training to... There's a thing called the French Foreign Legion, for example. Or let me rather use an example of a guy I know. My dude, his name is Yorick, right? His company is called PW Tactical. They are bodyguards, international bodyguards. They move with the Kardashians. Shout out Ansel O'Reilly as well from Empire Defense Force. He was bodyguarding the Kardashians when they went to that wedding in India. So we've got people here that know what they're doing. Shout out to Anwar Khan as well, Dog. You know Dog, AKA's former bodyguard.
Yeah, shame, man.
Full disclosure, he was not with AKA on the night, nor was he bodyguarding him. So in no way is it his fault. And bro, very few people are as hurt as that guy over what happened to AKA. But you've got people with the requisite skills to impart to someone, right? Even if you don't go far, how we did, the numbers that you need. Remember those blacks I mentioned that we can train here by the whites and upskill? Now, I've got 400 of them in Hillbrow. They can fix the Cape Flats, but they need the skills, at least a year of training. Those skills they're going to get from the brews that come from the Polish border, Abo Yorick and them. Because when he's not bodyguarding, the Ukrainian government calls those niggas and says, yo, the Polish government rather, we need your help. He's not a soldier and he's not a policeman.
Sure.
He's something in between. Him and 10 of his guys were on that border every day for about 6 months. Basically there to monitor that no one is coming across the Polish border trying to escape Ukraine. Because when it's a free-for-all, like we've seen with our border or the American border, other stuff comes in. Sure. It's not only refugees trying to run away. It's also drugs. It's also terrorists. It's also people who have an agenda.
Sure.
So I would take my Polish guys. I would take our local SEPs, right? But you don't use those ones that are most at risk. We've got a guy that's fixing Durban. He fixes KZN. But how does he fix it? He sends people to their master, Satan, straight to hell.
Christ.
Because what do you do with these people?
Jesus
Penuel?
Christ.
A lot of them are beyond. The other thing, discussion, like I said, it's the suspension of human rights thing. And that's not to say kill everyone. It's to say We have to have something where when we come in, we understand who we're dealing with, like Bukele. When they said to him, you can't just shoot people willy-nilly and treat them like this, he said, do you understand who we're dealing with? These people are devil worshippers.
Oh, Diablo.
He did the
Come
Diablo
on.
thing because remember they're a very religious society. So to get the public on his side, he came with the Diablo style and pictures of rituals where they were killing babies and stuff. He came with a bit of an Israel style. But anyway, that I think was to get the populace on his side. But the fact of the matter is, let's listen to him. Let's not be offended by what he's saying and hear. What is he saying? He's saying the people that we are dealing with don't think twice to shoot a pregnant mother in her head
They don't
to
believe
get
in
at the
human
husband.
rights.
They don't believe in
They
human
don't
So we
believe in human
cannot
rights.
deal with them with human rights. These ones on the Cape Flats, these ones in Westbury, 16, 17-year-old boys are shooting people in the fucking head. Fathers, mothers, the ones caught in the crossfire, children. I think we have passed the point of trying to deal with them in the conventional policing way which we are. It's not working. If we can turn that community around, we can copy and paste that model to every problem community, whether it's Semla, Zetegwin, Enanda. You know, Enanda in Durban has got the highest rape rate like in the world per capita.
Are you
It's,
serious? In the
bro,
world?
Hard,
Enanda's bad and Enyanga in Cape Town is horrible.
right? These are things that are just being allowed. Again, nothing is being done to bring them in. I like Ian Cameron. Right? I like him because I like how vocal he is. I like the fact that when he was hit in the face with the brick, he fought on inches and final.
Come on.
Yeah. You know, I got a new gun yesterday. Do you know what I named it? Maqedwe Mcimbi.
Oh. I was going to be like, I don't think
Hey!
Ian Cameron is a nice name for a gun.
Wakhipha Maqedwe Mcimbi wakhe igeja.
Party's
Wathi,
over.
Full sec.
Shut it down.
That is how you solve it. Ian Cameron's actions on that day led to the saving of 3 lives. His own, he lost 2 teeth and got fucking smashed in the face. All these good party and all these dumb cunts coming out and saying, why did he pull his gun?
Why did he
Didn't
pull his
give a
gun?
warning shot. I'm like, let me put... I tweeted that guy, whoever the fuck he is, that knob. Fuck you, you knob. And I said, sit in a car, let me smash you in the face with a brick. Then let's see. You understand? Don't talk to
I'm
me
reminded
about-
of the acting police minister saying that police mustn't
You
shoot
understand?
people.
Real
And
quick,
you're
that's
like,
when I had to
yeah.
retract that statement. So that is how you fix crime. You've got to come with a very hard, zero tolerance approach, and you've got to outsource a lot of the training of these guys, unfortunately, because if it's only done internally, as we've noticed from the Mkwanazi debacle, the entire place is a clusterfuck. You've got, when the 121 dockets were requested to come back by Fani Masimula, what happened? The first time that came out was this new police minister who's
Yeah.
supposed to be fixing things to say,
Mr.
let's
Bean.
wait for the commission. Why? What does the work of the police have to do with the work of the commission?
Of which the commission is not legally binding.
That, what is his name? The 12-year-old girl voice man.
Ah, yeah. Who's that now?
Lo baba lo.
Hey, keep it going.
Yena. The 12-year-old.
Hey.
Shange voice encane mfana. Mina akanginiki inspiration ukuthi ungasolve noma yini. Like I'm sure when he shouts at his kids, they don't even listen to him. How can he shout at criminals? Anyway, that broer said, no, the dockets must come back. And then good old Cyril puts his fucking foot in it and joins the call to say, no, he's unhappy about the dockets being returned. Why? The dockets are police work. It is investigative work by the police that leads to a conclusion based on evidence. There's nothing in the dockets that can be made up. The dockets cannot be used for anything other than following the law, due process. Penuel met with Debza on this day. I have the WhatsApps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Penuel, you are under arrest. Clean and jail up. But what did they do? They came out and they said, no, the dockets must come back. Do you genuinely believe that that commission is going to do anything? Of course not. It was set up as a delay tactic. It's been delayed as a delay tactic. And when it eventually happens, all of the conversations that need to take place in the background about how much do you want to shut the fuck up are going to have happened. It won't be the first time. There was an incident where dollars were stolen out of a couch. We've heard fuck all about it ever since. Because in the time that there was commissions and the delay, the conversations necessary to be had were had, and that's why people keep quiet. It's the very same reason that during this entire Mkwanazi debacle, which is, I don't think people even understand the magnitude of issue that this is. This is a serious issue. This is the security cluster of our country, from intelligence all the way down to police. These are the people that are supposed to protect us. And there is an accusation that they are a cartel working with international drug smugglers and political killings, the taking out of whistleblowers, the Babitas of the world, God rest her soul. What a brave woman. You understand?
Rest in peace to Papita Teokaran, man.
That's it, bro. If that's the accusation that's being leveled, it certainly isn't being treated with the seriousness that I think it deserves. And that tells me everything I need to know about Izopelela Gupi.
I don't know if it was Gayton when he was here, because I'm looking at the percentages and there's nothing that's factual online, but I'll just use this number to say, well, not a number, I'll just say a lot of crimes committed in this country are committed with police-issued guns. Is one of the things he raised, which he said he's hoping to raise at the commission as well.
One of the things about that is that a lot of the guns are guns that went missing last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And you know, like Inkabi, right? I've heard. Inkabi ispamusabo bayithandazela ngithi inomuthi. So I know there was a lot of people like, what? The same gun is connected to DJ somebody that's connected to this killing, that killing. And if you think about it in those terms, then the police thing also makes sense, because it could be a firearm that was lost 3 years ago. It could be a firearm that gets checked out, iyosebenza, phinde ibuye. You understand what I'm saying? These are all things that are impossible without the use of police. And then obviously, yes, there's the muti element. You know, Nkabi is going to go and kill with his gun that he went to the Nyanga with. You understand what I'm saying? So how do you deal with people like that? Zero tolerance. You cannot negotiate with people like that. You cannot have some sort of human rights approach with people like that. It's got to be a one-way ticket to their boss, Usatane, Shonakon.
The one thing I want to emphasize, which, you know, you said it in passing, but it's so important, is a lot of us know these people. You know, the idea of being expected to execute your brother or the next door neighbor's son, like a Tani, the old lady, but her son is up to shit. And you can't take him out.
You grew up, you went to school with him.
Even in the animated movie, Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse or whatever, you've got a situation Miles Morales' father's a cop. And the father's brother is essentially a criminal and a thug.
The wing. Do you also watch that with your kids? Jeez, like
not even with my kids. That's some fucking
Night
dope
Stalker.
Movies the Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, yeah.
The Nightcrawler, something like that.
Yes, bro.
But I mean,
like 10 times.
that stuff applies to. I think if you grew up in Lukshin, all of us know someone who's related to a criminal somewhere.
Bro,
and even when we go to family gatherings, we know who to Uncle Banu Kinsi Moto, and we laugh like, yo, and we know it, and we turn a blind eye.
I have a cousin that I'm very close with, and I love him to bits and pieces. But if that list had to be compiled, he'd be on it.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? He's my dude, though.
That's the first thing.
So that's the reality. But those, you said, what should coloureds do? That's one of the things. They need to stop defending criminality, defending this nonsense.
But they can't stop.
If you as the community know that Penuel, Bulalinga Nzabantu, you can't keep quiet. But the system, right, where you can report these things is honestly not geared for their protection. So I don't blame coloureds. I'm not saying, what the fuck's wrong with you guys? Snitch. No. I'm saying I don't blame them, because they know that any tip-off or any information that they give will lead to their death.
Also, what you're saying has nothing to do with coloureds. I think you're trying to answer something else, which was about something else, and I'll raise it.
Oh, I think you said, what should coloureds do? I just thought that's one of the things that, like, in those, because those are, a lot of those communities are coloured, but black communities also say
black communities, yeah.
Chicago,
Indians in Durban.
Bro,
no one talks about them.
I never spoke about Phoenix, and Phoenix especially, but Phoenix is fucking bad.
No one is speaking about Indians, bro.
I was in Durban
the
like
crime
last
and the
week.
drugs in Durban. Anyways, I wanted to say, okay, I'm going to make one more point, but I wanted to say, look, this thing is really complicated. And this is me now, I guess, defending criminality. And I apologize. But I mean, if we're trying to solve problems, we have to be honest.
It's okay. You're not perfect.
We have a problem of unemployment. We have a problem of drug abuse. A part of it being because of being unemployed, miserable, depressed. So you lean on alcohol. It graduates to substances because the alcohol doesn't hit anymore, and you fucking lose your mind. But before we get to the drugs, because by then you really are right off and you're very dangerous. Just the unemployment aspect, there are a lot of people who are stealing cars, hijacking, mugging, not out of goodness, by the way, but just to make money. And part of it becomes this guy that you guys want us to report donates to the local soccer club. This guy has bought furniture for his aunt. It's tough. And yes, we want to tell on, and maybe we're scared of them, but maybe we also respect his father. But his father also knows his light is up to shit. I mean, I remember again, Gayton being here speaking about how I think it was his father that called the cops on him or called the cops on his mates. That's a big ask. To come ask for your lighty or your nephew to come be arrested.
And then they know that it was you. You understand? Like the cost of that decision is far reaching.
Your lighty's mates are going to come take you out. So, I mean, I'm just...
But now, then it creates the cycle where they come take your time out. You have to dollar them. You have to dollar your friend that you went to school with.
It's more complicated, if we're being honest, because this is where I love what you're saying about importing.
It's very important.
Taking Zulu guys to the Cape. They don't know anyone fucking there. Bringing guys from overseas. It's like there's no allegiance here. We're going to do our research.
I've heard that's
Once we find out,
that's what the Nkabis do.
So import guys. So that one I support, because snitching is complicated. Because we all want to snitch on the corrupt ANC until the corrupt ANC is your uncle who bought you a car, or your aunt who donated 50,000 to your school fees, who you visit on the weekends at her mansion. Now all of a sudden it's like, but my aunt is not a bad person. Everyone is saying the same. My uncle, whoever, is also not a bad person. They also donate to our things. But we know they part of the scandals. The second thing I wanted to say was this. Yeah, the second thing is, Shruti, you're saying that we can't solve this problem because you mentioned Nayib Bukele and El Salvador. You mentioned Donald Trump.
We can, but
we don't have the leaders in this country to resolve this thing.
Our president at the National Dialogue gave a speech in which he felt like a priority is why are women not earning the same as men? And I was like, this is a ChatGPT speech. That is the most generic topic of discussion you could have possibly added to your little speech that you're giving at the National Dialogue. That is not on the agenda, in my opinion, because in his employ of 200 and something ministers, 200 and something DGs, 200 and something deputies, 400 and something sbanbanis, just in the upper echelons of the government ministries, the women are earning the same as the men. So which sector is he talking about? I can tell you now, if you're a woman and you're an engineer and you're good at what you do and you're working anywhere in this country as a qualified mechanical engineer, you get the same money.
That's true.
If you work the same hours and you do the same job, you get the same money. It is nonsense. But that's what he chose to bring up on his agenda. It makes me believe that you have no idea what we need to deal with in order of priority.
Or he doesn't care.
There we go. I actually got an interesting phone call from, he's my uncle, it's my mom's first cousin. I haven't spoken to this bra for like fucking maybe 10 years, right? And he called my mom and he was like, yo, I need Warwick's number. And my mom was like, yo, this guy's trying to call you. And I was like, what the fuck does this bra want? But anyway, he lives in Howick. And
hey, shout out to Howick. That's where my father's from, in Popomeni.
In Popomeni.
That's what's up.
He's like, hey, cuz, man, I just wanted to bend your ear, but do you have half an hour for me? I said,
that's a lot of time.
A lot of time.
On a phone call?
Brother, a friend of mine, Penuel, said, if I want to give you half an hour, kumele 500. He said, no problem. Nah, e-wallet. Okay, so.
Did he send you money?
No, I didn't charge him. But I should have, because the call was actually 1 hour, 4 minutes. But anyway. He calls me and he says, what I want to discuss with you is, I've listened to your podcasts and I've listened to the commentary you've given on, let's call it the state of the nation, right? And he said, has it ever occurred to you that maybe these O's are doing it on purpose? Maybe they want to fuck the place up. Maybe their mandate from the beginning has been, you will be installed to destroy the ANC, destroy every fucking parastatal, every income generating asset of the government, for example, COJ, they get revenue from buildings. If they allow them to be derelict and hijacked, they make no money. Why would you do that? To destroy every sector of business via policies that seem like they're very friendly and fair, like BEE, via incompetent people that you install into leadership positions and enrich while they're fucking the place up, and via this dereliction of duty where on a list of priorities, you feel like men and women not earning the same even features there. Being a bro who lives here. What if they are doing it on purpose?
Yeah.
Because if you make a parastatal crash like your PRASA, your Transnet, and then announce that, private trains will now be running on the rail line.
Yes.
That's lekker. It reminds me of Hwange in Zimbabwe. It's where coal comes from. The Chinese came and built a railway from Hwange to Beira so they can transport the coal that they mine on the mine that they own in the train that they brought on the railway line that they paid for to the port that they built. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's imagine that that could be a plausible scenario.
Tuma mina. I'll get it done for you.
Right? And if you ask yourself, why is this person doing it? I watched your best bra SMWX there.
Sure.
Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh.
Dr. Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh.
Doctor, sorry, Doc. I like the brew, right? I like the case he has on. I've actually started watching his channel quite a bit. And he had Koko Aubrey Mashidkui on. And the Koko told a very clever story where he said, during the time of the struggle, Oaks needed weapons to fight the struggle. And they went to a dude named Brasox because Brasox had all of the channels of illegal smuggling routes, right? How do you get stuff into the country? You need to have a bra at the Beit Bridge border who knows ukuthi fence nqamukile kuphi kuphi bangena ngayo. Then ungena emotweni uthi tshwe ungena ngeborder ya kuphi kuphi. Next thing you in Louis Trichardt, whatever, right? Brasox was doing that because Brasox was smuggling other stuff. You needed that route because you needed to smuggle weapons.
Yeah.
Brasox helps you out because he says, I believe in your cause, I believe in the revolution, I'm not going to charge you. Let's tala. Because Brasox helped you and you got the weapons, you won the fight. Now that you've won the fight and you are in power, Brasox is still running his routes. Are you going to close Brasox's route?
Never.
You in the same dilemma as the Khaleds? Now what? Then Brasox comes to you one day and he says, hey, yazi in pen. Khona enye into engifuna ukuyifaka mfethu. But wena ngizokufakela isincane. But
esofeni noma uzoyifaka phi?
cha ngizokufakela nje.
Oh. Esofeni.
Noma kuma offshore, noma kuma sofeni,
Sure.
noma ngaba i Rolls Royce, ngaba i 6x6 G-Wagon, but
on.
ngizokunqamulela. Wena just make sure ukuthi my stuff gets in. It's Brasox. This guy helped you fight the revolution. You can't say no to Brasox.
Brasox is a fictional name, ne?
No, it's a fictional name, yes.
Okay.
Brasox is a placeholder, right?
Sure, no problem.
Brasox is a placeholder. And then
Thinking of
Brasox,
someone in my head, I just won't mention the name.
No. Now you let Brasox do his thing, and Brasox is doing it, right? And then one day, a police commissioner stands up and says, yo, the whole thing is fucking rigged. This one was sending me WhatsApps. This one was sending me WhatsApps. This one was sending me WhatsApp. Now, the public is surprised, but the very same people in power act like they knew none of this because they know very well who Brasox is. And that's where his story ends. But what I would add on to his story is a line from Matthew McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson in that movie where the child is raped and killed.
Jesus.
He makes that whole argument and he tells that whole Brasox story, but the one piece he left out, he says, or I'm saying, who says Brasox is black? What if Brasox was a white guy all along? What if Brasox and the stuff he's bringing in knows that it is destroying this place, but the money that he shares with them for it and the incentive that they have to let Brasox continue bringing in Brasox stuff is too much to say no to. They are going to ignore what Brasox is doing, even though they know that Brasox's agenda is destroying the place. The agenda must agenda.
The movie is called A Time to Kill.
That's it, yes. He makes the whole closing argument and then he says to a very racist jury, he says, now imagine that child was white And everybody's like, whoa. Because nobody cared because it was a black kid. And when I listened to the Prasok story, I assumed it was a black guy. But when I look at the lay of the land, and when I look at who invented BEE, and when I look at businesses that have been built by white people that should have been built by blacks because the opportunity was there, when I look at the fact that all of the skills existed to upskill, develop, and teach black people so that 30 years later, we'd be a fucking first world economy because we've got arguably the best location geographically on the globe. And then I say, what if Prasox was a white guy?
I want to throw some names. I'm hoping it won't get me in trouble. Shout out to SMWX and
Shout out to
Aubrey
SM.
Mashiko.
One time.
This is in no way linked to Prasox, by the way.
Okay.
I just want to mention.
Man, no Prasox. Can I?
Please, you can have
On your
I'm good. No, thank
on
you.
your Prasox point, do something for me now quickly. Google who owns Zimbabwe.
Who owns Zimbabwe?
I'll do it because I know you have a page open. Who owns Zimbabwe?
The name I was going to throw is like Van Hogenstraat or something.
But Zimbabwe is fucked because of blacks.
What's the name?
Once blacks came into power, no, it's still loading because I think your Wi-Fi like
This guy must never be invited back. I must try and remember these names I'm going to give. And I'm only giving them because I'd like people to go and research if they're
obviously,
interested.
since Google has incorporated AI, it does all this shit.
Sure.
But look at the first name that comes up.
Who's this? Oh, snap. This was going to be one of the names I mentioned, by the way.
But who the
funny
fuck
enough.
is that guy?
Billy Rotenbach
There we go.
was definitely going to be one of the names I throw.
No, Ila. We're not lying.
There's Van Hogen
The
something,
first
man.
name that comes up on Wikipedia. Who
When am I gonna
owns
get
Zimbabwe?
This guy's name Zimbabwe.
I don't know who Billy Rautenbach is. I got no
No,
problems
that's a
with you,
serious
Timer.
hammer.
But again, when the thing is being demolished and it's fucking falling apart and you're like, fuck, blacks are dumb, fucking gave it to the blacks, now look what they've done with it.
This is not Prasox. Guys, this is not Prasox.
This
at
is
all.
not Prasox.
I just want people to go and research
But
these people.
Zim is an example of a place that fell apart and it's the blacks'
Billy
fault.
Rotenbach is an important name, not just for Zimbabwe, for South Africa as well. If you ever read his story, I know some of the articles on his business have been taken off the internet because I raised them years ago and they don't exist anymore. A guy called Nicholas van Hoogstraten.
Hoogstraten, yeah.
Van Hoogstraten must also be looked up specifically for Zimbabwe. Jean-Yves Olivier, I think is his name.
Olivier.
I don't know how you pronounce it. I think he's
I think
French.
it's Olivier. 1 second. Babe, I'm recording a podcast. I'll phone you now. Okay. I'm going to phone you now. Bye.
Jeez.
It's not my hand. That's not my hand, bro. Please, full disclosure, that's my cousin. Let me send a video so she knows I'm not lying. My hand did call as well, but I didn't take her calls.
Okay. All
You see
right.
my phone in the camera.
Van Hoogstraten.
Thank God. Yeah?
Jean-Yves Olivier or Olivier, however you pronounce it, huge fixer on the continent. Huge.
Here's another name for you. Eben Barlow.
Eben Paulo.
Big boss.
Eben Paulo.
Here's another name for you. Never mind.
Okay. Dan Gertler, specifically in the DRC. Big boy. Shout out to Dan. He's a phenomenal entrepreneur. In South Africa, we do have lobbyists and fixers. They may not be that popular, but the most popular one I know, because he was involved in the arms deal. And he was at the State Capture Commission. So I'm going to mention his name because he's known. Is Itai Fana Hlongwane. Solid hammer. Made a lot of money. I was surprised he went to the commission because he moves in the shadows.
Live down the road from him.
Is it? Shout out to him.
Lakaboo. Nice Bali too. So always see him at Hyde Park.
Which other name did I want to throw, man? Oh, the transition from apartheid to democracy. There's a gentleman called Jürgen Kogel. This guy would organize accommodation for Zuma, Nombegi. I'm not sure how far he went, but I know Nelson Mandela was gifted a house in Houghton, the one that we know. The Tambo family was gifted a house in Sandhurst. So when people ask, where did they get these houses? These were gifts. It's like, hey, Warwick, I really like you.
But
You
what,
should come and live in our
what is a
neighborhood.
gift? That's my thing, is that, yes, they were gifting, but it's like, okay, it's a bit tricky now because now we need to know who Prasox is. And now you...
But these are really great names. And these are people that are above board. You can research on them. We're not going to throw names that are going to get us in real trouble. We're not saying this is Prasox.
I'm not saying this is Prasox.
The reason I'm mentioning them, in the context of Prasox is there are a lot of people that connect. Or the last one is, this one is the most famous. The guy who introduced Mandela to Margaret Thatcher. By Kamalali time. Lord Renwick. Is that Lord Renwick?
Lord Renwick.
I think he might have also organized for Malema at some point for a meeting somewhere. Robin Renwick, Baron Renwick of Clifton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a picture of him and Umalema. I think he was the guy that organized for Mandela to meet with Margaret Thatcher, because Margaret Thatcher hated Mandela and she was like, they must kill these terrorists.
Because she thought they were terrorists.
Yeah, Robin Renwick. There are people that are organizers of things that bring people together.
Fixers.
And
another one was Dostane.
Another big one. So a lot of them, we're not saying they're involved in crime in any way, but if ever you're trying to find Prasox, I can tell you now that these guys, may rest in peace, Brett Cable, these guys know exactly who those people are. If it's not them involved in some way.
Roger Cable.
So,
no, you're right. They'll know who it is. Even now, there is on the Mkwanazi list, bro, there's names there that people know are there. And that's what's so scary. It's become like the Epstein list, where it's like, you know who's on there, but everyone is scared to say. And then when the name sort of comes out, it's going to be like, fuck, I knew it.
But nothing's going to happen.
No, nothing.
The important thing, which is why...
People needn't worry about it. Just move on.
For people like myself, it's like, look, I'm not worried. Because people say things like, are you not scared? I'm like, scared of what? That they'll take you out. I'm like, but why? Why would they take me out? Because I didn't say Warras has got cocaine in Durban at this point. I didn't say that.
No, of course.
I just said, look, Warras is known. You can go and research him. He's known as a drug dealer in Durban. Everyone knows him. It's not hidden. If ever there's...
Yes,
so,
I know. I would say, a lot of people I see, I look at the example of a few of our politicians when their names came up and how they rushed to whichever platform would hear them to come with a fucking stupid story that made no sense and was just not logical. Do you know how many of them did that in a panicked way? I watched Kenny Kunene do it on ENCA. I watched Godfrey Lebia do it in his interview when they asked him, but why were you getting calls? Well, I watched Malcolm X do it. What the fuck was he doing? Just keep quiet, bro. I watched, what's the other one? What do I know? Fuck. Anyway, do it where it's like, you didn't have to say anything.
You really don't have to say
anything. And in saying something, rather be quiet and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. A professional at that is our president. When the heat is on, he keeps quiet.
He keeps very quiet.
He's quiet.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to enter. A lot of it is noise. That's the thing. It's also like, you can't say, he knows he's guilty. No, that's not what Warras is saying. I'm saying that is the best thing to do. We're trying to figure out what's going on here. A serious accusation has been made.
Yeah.
Let me keep quiet, yabo, ngizibambe, so that when I come out and respond, whether I'm telling the truth or a lie, it needs to make sense. It cannot be nonsensical. And I think a slip up in recent weeks was the dockets thing.
Yeah.
That was one you need to shut up about. Because it doesn't matter why you feel the dockets must stay. We know the dockets are this tentative issue. So just keep quiet, let the dockets go, and then you pull the O2 aside and say, "Hey, ma'am, what's the story?" Directly to the guy who sent the dockets, not via your spokespeople, because that's how stories leak. So even Warras, people are shy to say, bro, I know a lot of these names, you understand what I'm saying, that are mentioned. I know them because I am in an industry where I know lots of people. I know lots of people, but more because lots of people know me. And you get to know these bras when you crawl around these areas and you're in these spaces. But I cannot say with certainty that I won't be set one day in somebody's house and the fucking Hawks land, ngihleli mina. Uyangizwa ngithini?
Sure.
Because in order to get a lot of stuff done, you need bra socks. You understand what I'm saying, Penuel? Ubra socks fethu angeke umdlule nje. Ubra socks khona lapho zofuneka khona ubra socks. And it helps to know bra socks. Doesn't mean you work with bra socks, doesn't mean you fuck with bra socks, nor does it mean you are prepared to snitch on bra socks.
Never that. I want to read this very interesting from Iqbal Survey. The South African arms deal for which Jacob Zuma has been in and out of court for 20 years started in the 1980s. And involved Robin Renwick and Basil Hersoff, the father of Rob Hersoff.
Well.
The last thing I wanted to say is...
Maybe Rob Hersoff is bra socks.
these people that I mentioned, I have huge respect for. I have huge respect for, and to be honest, I would love to be them, which is why I'm mentioning them. Because, as I said, they're above board, they do business, but I know they are fixers, and I know they know people. So like me and you, we may know people, even though we're not involved, and we definitely are living happy lives podcasting.
Look, guys, if
nice.
I was involved, you motherfuckers would know about it. Because the way I would flex on you. I was watching the videos where people are like, oh, vele, we should have known. Because nangu umuntu wakhe ushuthi video mfana ngathi advert uhamba nge-Rolls Royce in front of a business park wearing a business suit driving herself in a Rolls Royce. But anyway.
Hey, we tandile Rolls Royce today.
No.
You want to say something about the Rolls Royce?
What about
in closing?
it?
I don't know. You've mentioned it 3 times today.
I feel like it's the height of opulence. I feel like if you've made it to Rolls Royce level, nigga, you've made it. That's what I'm saying.
You've mentioned it 3 times today.
I'm saying, you'll see me in a Rolls Royce. Nah, not really. But you'll see me in a car on that caliber when I'm really flexing. So I'm not involved. I know you are also not involved, Mngano. Me now.
Involved in what?
Anything.
Oh, I'm involved.
Guys,
I'm involved.
Are you?
Oh.
Me and Penuel discuss finances.
Hey, I'm involved.
We discuss
involved.
Lots of stuff.
So
then give me the fucking 5 million I asked.
I'm not going to do that. You don't deserve it.
Yes, if I empty my pockets now.
Two important questions for me, Warras.
Yes, I'm gonna.
We've been going for an hour 55.
That's how we do.
Number 1, why do you still like Donald Trump? Because I used to like him, I don't anymore, and I can explain why. But number 2, this now speaks to the coloureds, which I think you misunderstood. I think that coloured people in this country have been forgotten, have been sidelined. I believe they also have their own internal issues. As someone who is seen as coloured, even though you're not, I'd also just like to hear, if coloureds are a conversation in a national dialogue, what should the conversation be around coloureds? Is it just leave them alone? Let's take away the name coloured because it was a derogatory name. Do we need to sort out something? Should we hear from what colours have to say? As Warras, as a non-coloured, ex-coloured, whatever, these are my thoughts, etc. I was just asking as a generic because I have a soft spot for coloured people. And I do think a lot of them have a raw deal in this country.
You have a coloured baby mama, eh?
No.
The man has to think.
I don't.
I do. I have a coloured baby mama and a Muslim son. Listen,
let's do coloureds because Trump is not that important.
I love coloureds, right? I'll answer your question with one line. But I think the first thing that needs to happen is that we need to address... The last time when I made the controversial coloured statement on this show, I think that the discussion that it sparked needs to be extrapolated on and expanded. Because I actually, as much as a lot of people were hating on me and saying, fuck you, you just want to tender, you think you are black. Others were saying you think you are white. I don't know if I want to be white and black at the same time. I actually do. If I go through it and again, I separate the noise and don't get offended by the people talking shit about me. I try to listen to what they were saying. And something that came out for me is this, they hang on to this patriotism to whatever it means to be colored, right? But within that colored label, there's this almost like a tribalism of the different variations of colored, right?
It's a fact.
Yeah, I'm Malay. And our history is 1, 2, 3. I am Khoisan and my history is 1, 2, 3. We from Durban, so we don't even subscribe to that one. The way they don't even see us because our mix is also got Indian. Tyler went and fucking said the dumbest shit ever. You understand? This all came after that, and it all sort of like I'm trying to process it. So I'm formulating my thoughts as I speak to you because no one's actually asked me to articulate it. But I think the first discussion needs to happen within coloreds, where they need to what unites them, okay, as a race, right? Is that a fair
you
question?
recognize coloreds as a race?
They are a race, definitely.
Okay.
The thing is, you can't. I feel like, remember I told you on the last show, I feel the plight of colored people is very similar to the one of black people. Right, in my opinion. I'm talking the majority now. Those same colored people that live on the Cape Flats, like I said, their proximity to Langa and Khayelitsha, etc., is no mistake. You understand what I'm saying? They're all together there and they're facing like similar challenges. They're facing similar social ills. They're facing similar substance abuse issues and they're facing similar gangsterism problems. So their problems are all the same. But I think their solutions are different. Black people look to government to solve their problems. Colored people carry on about how government doesn't want to solve their problems.
Yeah.
No one is saying, how do we solve our own problems? And I'm not saying that they can. I don't know if they can. I certainly hope they would try. There's been these colored movements in the past to solve particular issues in those areas like a Pagad. Remember Pagad?
I remember Pagad, yeah.
What was Pagad's
That was
approach?
people against
Gangsterism and drugs. Pagad's approach was, Bukele, hammer down, fight fire with fire. Right? You want to shoot people, we're going to shoot you. You want to fucking burn people, we're going to burn you. Now that we can agree, in a civilized society, at the time it was frowned upon, but it got results. You understand? It's just that it got completely out of control and then, I don't know, Pagad was disjointed. But anyway, someone told me the other day on Twitter that there is still like officers of Pagad. Obviously, it doesn't have the teeth it once had. But that was them coming together and uniting to fight against something. Not ideal, because as I say, I wouldn't advise it or recommend it, but at least they did something. I don't see them doing anything anymore.
Yeah.
And from Eldos to Wentworth to Sydenham to Cape Flats to Chicago, here is a common problem. How do we solve it? But first, they need to unite and say, as long as there's this disjointing between, because between colors, there's intercolored racism, hectic. My granny favored me and my cousin Lyndall over the other two grandchildren. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sure. I was fair with the sharp nose, sharp features, and the others had flat features.
Gaten spoke about this. Yes. He was the opposite of you.
Yeah. He was probably on the unfavored side, right?
I'm struggling to find a video, man. I wanted to find, anyways, if I find it, I'll post it somewhere. It's this colored gent breaking down the different types of colors on TikTok.
Yes. I'm sure I've seen it. If not, please, yes, do share.
I'll try and find it and share it somewhere.
Let's find something that we unite around. And the same goes for black people. There's a lot of tribalism within black people in South Africa, where Zulus don't like Vendas don't like Xhosas, whatever. Yeah. It's a similar problem in the different variations of colored. So first, what do we unite on? What are our problems? And then in coming up with solutions, I think the last thing that they should do is depend on government. Not because government ignores coloreds, but because government is inept. They cannot solve anything. They can't even solve the problems of the blacks. All they can do is solve the issues of the elite.
That's
money.
Correct.
They look after the elite, they look after the cadres, and they look after the politically connected. For that, Penuel, there is no race. Because there's colored niggas that came up because they have government connection. There's white niggas that came up because they have government connections, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So that would be my advice for coloreds, is like, before we come to the national dialogue, what do we unite under as a banner? I don't want to hear someone at the national dialogue saying, there's a guy I saw the other day, there was a Khoisan march somewhere. He doesn't look like a Khoisan, but anyway, some guy, he's like, no, the rights of the Khoisan and we as colored people, like, he articulated himself well, but I was like, this is going to go nowhere, because it starts out being disjointed. It's not a unified effort on behalf of all colored people.
Sure.
And yeah, until that happens, I don't see, like, it's really difficult to come out of the position that they're in. I think it's really difficult to solve the Cape Flats matter, the gangsterism matter, the drugs abuse matter. These are hard problems to solve. And I don't know if there are people within those communities who can rise up and solve them for those people. Because the leaders, when I say leaders, I mean like people that I've heard speak on political matters on behalf of colored people. They come in with the wrong agenda, boss. There's one, he just sounds racist. That guy, I don't know, Kapanar or whatever the fuck his name is.
Okay.
Where he used to run a movement called Khatfol, I think.
Okay.
You know that guy?
I think I know Khatfol, yeah.
Yeah, man. It was called Khatfol. Now it's called something Onsatate or Onslamensa or whatever.
Sure.
When he speaks, man, he's the one who's talking about how blacks are moving from the Eastern Cape into colored areas and they're filling up the place.
They must leave.
Yeah, man, that doesn't work. That doesn't work in the same way that the Cape independence movement doesn't work. There's merit to what you're saying. Sharp, we hear you. But that's not how you come into the discussion, my brother, because immediately you offend us. We don't want to hear what you have to say. You're not going to get anywhere.
Sure.
The Cape independence guy is just short of saying, these fucking blacks are filling up all the sewage. It's shit too much. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, Jesus Christ, bro. Am I making sense?
Sure.
There's merits to what you're saying. Yes, but the way uyibeka ngakhona ilapho ke yabo into eshoyo right. Kodwa the way uyibeka ngakhona wrong ke yona. And that doesn't get you an audience. And it's not going to get to the right ears like that.
Last two questions. Why do you still like Donald Trump? And I know I asked this last time, but I'm going to ask it again. If government is rubbish, why don't you go into government?
Me?
If you've got solutions.
I don't. No, it's not to say. I started the show by...
Why do you still like Donald Trump, bro? So
Yeah. I like Donald Trump because, very simple way to explain it. When it's time to act, he doesn't fuck around. He acts. He said, DC is a problem. Send in the National Guard. Walungisa. He said, Doge. He said, everything that he said is changing. All of the executive orders. He said, the borders are fuck up. What happened at the border? The crossings have gone down by 96%. The man hasn't even been in a year. Doge is recouping funds left, right, and center. The issue that most people have with Donald Trump, in him being an action guy, like I said earlier, there's always going to be losers. And sometimes in order of priority, in order for him to prioritize his own people, his own nation, his own policies, and his own outcomes, niggas have to lose. US aid needs to be cut. You know my thoughts on NGOs. They are a cabal. They create the conditions for theft, thievery, and scammery. I see them all the time in the CBD. And I'm like, you motherfuckers think I don't see you. What you do? You see, you want this place to remain a shithole.
So that you get money.
Yes. They get funding based on how many people are living in shit. And I don't agree with that. Because, the last time I was here, I think I spoke about the fact that nobody gives a fuck about poor people. I said that I don't care about poor people. Yes, I don't. Because I live in fucking Melrose and my life is nice. But when I go to work in the CBD and I look at those kids, I get really angry. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I think to myself, why must they live like this? Because you want to be a greedy rich cunt. It's not fair. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in the same way, it's like Trump is probably walking around America and he's saying, why must communities be under siege? Because you niggas want to shoot each other. And then I must do nothing about it because how it will be perceived. Fuck that. I don't care who it offends. Send in the National Guard. He overrode, Gavin Newsom when he sent the National Guard into California at the time of the water or fires or whatever. And Gavin Newsom went on to every possible radio station, TV show or podcast that he could to say Trump is exceeding his authority. He's coming into my state. And in America, state government, federal government, right? Federalism. And Trump was like, no, fuck that. Look at the place. He has fucked the place up. Him and that mayor are dumb cunts. That's why I don't have time to entertain this, bruh. This is the situation. This is what the people need. We're fixing it. I say that because I have an example right here of a president that is the opposite of an action guy. He's a talking guy. And as a result of being a talking guy, a police commissioner can come out and say, I've got WhatsApps from this nigga saying, I've sorted the thing out. And you say, well, we'd better establish a commission of inquiry. Not straight to jail.
Let's
fired.
Act.
Let's act. There's no action. It's let me kick the can down the road and delay the action for as far as possible. Because why? Could it be because you don't want to do anything because you yourself are implicated? We don't know. Could it be because Prasox said,
Asif Vale Warwick.
Yabo.
Why?
Banu Prasox.
Upra Warras.
Enzenu zuma, wenzenu zuma, pendula.
Why,
Pendula.
why don't you go into government?
I don't have time, my friend. I'm also trying to amass wealth and sort myself out. What we all do is we try to sort ourselves out. I've got
But if
3
you
kids,
don't solve the
2 baby
problems, who must
mamas,
solve them?
a mother. I've got a lot of people that are dependent on me operating. You see, if I go into government, they must break me off for something because I'm not going to do it for free. But the difference,
You're willing
Of course, I
for the right price.
Look here, I've messaged Panyaza Lesufi
for the right price.
Not even
you don't have to show me
for a fair price. I'm not. I like Panyaza, right? Honestly, I fancy his chances for next ANC leader. I like Panyaza.
Is he also an action man?
Who?
Panyaza.
He is an action man. At least I've seen some, whether the action works or not, right? I don't want people to say, because when you say something like, well, he started Amapanyaza, the Joburg Wardens.
Yes.
The idea behind the Joburg Wardens is a good idea and it's brilliant. And I understand the sentiment with which it was started. I don't know how effective it is.
But it did something.
It did something. Yeah. At the very least, visibility of some sort of law enforcement has gone up. And that's important, especially in a place like the CBD. What you need mostly is a deterrent. Because as you said, not every criminal is a high-level murderer. No. A lot of them are petty criminals. You understand? They can't do crime. We have a no-crime we have a no crime policy. By adding visibility of law enforcement, it at least does something to bring the crime down. Whether they can do something or not about when a crime is committed, and guys, because I don't have the numbers.
Upanyaza is trying to recruit you.
So no,
into the
Upanyaza made a
so
speech
that you can be a member of parliament.
He made a speech the other day, and he said that they're dismantling 400 informal settlements around Gauteng. It's nonsense now. People have come into our country illegally. They've erected these structures illegally. They're putting pressure on the system. You know the story. And we've been patient with them. But now, we're coming in.
I love that clip from him, by the way.
Love that clip.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say he's an action guy. Yes, it's taken him long, but he's the only one saying something about it.
He says we'll meet in court. It's fine. But at least, Hambani.
You know who's going to try and stop him? NGOs.
Of course.
And the Human Rights Commission. What about the people that these people are a burden on? Fuck them. Fuck their
So
rights.
you're ready to go into government?
I'm ready to work with somebody like a Panyaza because I also have a skill set. And I've developed a blueprint that I believe the city of Joburg could benefit from. I want to get paid for the blueprint because I'm a capitalist. I'm not going to do it for free.
Yeah.
But I have the right set of people in my network to solve the problem that the city is having with regards to this. I'm not the only one. But I'm certainly the most famous one.
Hey.
So if you use me, the PR that you can get done to let your citizens know that we are doing something, these other niggas can't fuck with me. I'm also not averse to working with any one of them. I don't want to do it alone. But what I want to do is I'd like to take my little blueprint at my building and copy and paste it to the 120 hijacked or derelict buildings owned by the city of Joburg. Our electricity and water bill at the building where I operate is somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 rand a month. That's revenue to the city. Lights and water.
300 to 400,000 rand a month.
Yes.
For a building.
For a building. It's electricity and water. We pay it. It's paid.
And no one's going to investigate this shit because it's the same people that we expect to investigate Lamasim, but that's happening.
But
sorry.
If we take that number as an average, obviously some of the buildings that are stolen are smaller, but some are bigger. There's an 18-story building, dude. It's got like fucking almost 400 units, I think. That's a big building. It's been hijacked. City of Joburg is getting no revenue from this building. Electricity is illegally connected. The more they disconnect it, they connect it again. Why? It's like an evergreen contract. You come and you disconnect, buy buy sale. You come and you disconnect, everything's an invoice. The water gets shut off, they shut it back on. Shut off, shut on, shut off, shut on. Who's reconnecting on their behalf? The same fucking employees who are disconnecting. You see what I mean? These are things you need to fix. My blueprint solves that. Come in, negotiate with people. Don't. That doesn't need an approach where you come in. There's many ways to go about it. And as I say, we've implemented it and it's worked. There's no difference with that building and other buildings and the people they have in them. Why is it not happening? I don't know. Mina, I messaged Panyaza and I said, Mbati, this is what I've got. I'm not trying to get it and I'm not trying to bribe him for it. I'm trying to offer him something that works. To working with people who are good, who are skilled, to come up with a solution that is beneficial for the city, the economic hub of South Africa. What's wrong with that?
Any closing remarks?
Any closing remarks?
Kids, stop vaping. It's bad for you.
Kids, stop vaping.
Fucks up
it's
your
fucking
lungs.
bad for you.
Don't be like
this
me.
morning I tried to make an attempt to return to boxing. So I went to the gym with my gloves. And I was like, I prefer boxing as cardio, right? If you can actually box, or if you've got some boxing training of some sort, boxing is really beneficial. If you're an amateur and you buy gloves and you're fucking hitting there, it doesn't burn as much. So for me, boxing is like the ultimate, right? Mvana, I think I hit that bag for 2 minutes and 13 seconds. I put a timer on for 3 minutes.
Lungs were out.
Fucked up. 1 round. Then the second round, I said, hey, yeah. Gone. Stop fucking vaping. This will be my last vape. The next time I'm on the Penuel show, I'll be done with vaping. Okay. And also, man, like fucking something that's also very important, like lead a healthier life, you know. Tuli Bongolo put up a status where she said, you know, I'm getting a lot of DMs from ladies or whatever. She was talking like a lot of the brews that come up that are on, you know, the guys that flex, the same beneficiaries of BEE. Mm-hmm. They suffer, like she said, look after your health because you're shopping at like your fucking diamond walks and you're buying clothes that are ill-fitting, but because it's a label, with Gogil. But then you've also got issues like ashy skin on your feet, tambio shaini, pedicure, halitosis, you understand? How can you be driving a Rolls Royce when your mouth smells? Bro, and people came at her, right? They were like, yo, what the fuck? She's actually targeting a specific someone. Yeah. And I don't think so. When I read it, it made a lot of sense. I look at the guys that are like super on and how fat they are. And I think to myself, my brother,
it's bad.
Yes, you've got 50 cars, but you cannot be walking around like this. You can afford an endocrinologist, a nutritionist, the best doctors, blood tests, you name it, and a regimen to fix your health and become healthier. Look at Kaushik Karan. He was fat, bro. Yeah. That Indian guy,
shout out
investment
to
bank.
Shout out to Kaushik.
Every day that man posts in the gym. Shout out to fucking Kaushik. He's really done well.
Yeah.
And he still continued being Kaushik. But now he'll be Kaushik for a lot longer.
Yeah.
That's something that I want to commit to, like seriously, because I'm approaching 40 now. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucking 38 years old here.
Jeez. You're living youth. Are you youth in this country?
But the thing is, Penuel, I keep being a youth. You know what I'm saying? I'm fortunate, bro. At least I've still got something where the white MILFs, they like me.
An endocrinologist is a medical specialist who diagnoses and treats conditions related to endocrine system, which involves glands that produce hormones. They manage diseases of the endocrine glands, such as those affecting the thyroid, pancreas for insulin production, and other hormone-producing organs.
Yes.
Common conditions treated by endocrinologists include diabetes, thyroid disorders, and hormonal imbalances.
That's to say, some of the people who are fat are not fat purely because they eat too much. They're fat for a different reason. So if you've got money, it gives you access to these people. You should go look at it. If your mouth smells, boss, go to an orthodontist. You understand? Because let's not pretend. You're going to be romancing these baddies. At least try and make the experience as enjoyable as possible for the baddie.
Hey, these girls are strong. These girls are strong, boy. They go into the war zones for that money.
People post about them. I just think to myself, yo, bro, if this was me, my daughter, my sister, and they were saying, yo, the way ufeba corner, like rough stuff that people say, and then they put pictures of them and the guys that they are with or accused of being with. I'm sure Galimas, you know?
Okay, bye, Warras.
Oh, and also shout out to my son, Ethan, and my other son, Troy, and my other son, Keon. Daddy loves you, boys.
Hey, yes. We love it.
Did you see that thing I gifted him for his birthday? They wrote an article.
Did they?
Yeah. He was standing with cash.
Not Dubai celebrate.
And then they're like, yo, Warras gift his son Rex. Full disclosure, because people started fucking CCing SARS in the tweet. You know what I'm saying? I always carry cash.
Haters.
No, I always carry cash.
The haters are never Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but if there's a hardworking industry in the world, it's hate.
It's haters. And I just
haters
thought,
work overtime, boy.
I must address this, man, because my son was like, Daddy, there is an article, people were coming to me at school. Mvanagiti, that money, like, because I know people were taking sauce. That money was cash that I'd withdrawn to pay salary. I have cash on me now. I have like 20K in my pocket.
How? Excel, shut it down. Sayolu, 20K, Nabosis, Bama Rolls Royce.
10K.
Hey, what's up?